Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are here for the second match of international rugby of the day that we are doing. Australia versus Wales. This will be Joe Schmidt's first game in charge as Wallabies head coach. Wales, of course, have Warren Gatland. They have already played a game this year, of course, in the Six Nations, but also in the warm-ups for the July internationals. That was up against the South Africans where they had a good first half. They just weren't really able to follow it up in the second. But what we will do, ladies and gentlemen, is we will let you know exactly who is in the starting side for this side for the Australians. Now, they have gone with quite a young team. In fact, the most debutants that we have seen in 44 years for an Australian side. So that is certainly something to look out for in this contest. We'll be going through the teams in a very short moment. The update or the lineup is not popping up for a second, so what we will do is we will look through, first of all, James Slipper, Matt Faisler, and Taniela Tupou as the front row. Jeremy Williams and Lukan Salakai-Lotto will be the locking duo. Then Liam Wright, Fraser McWright, and Rob Valentini there as the number 8. Jake Gordon will be the starting 9 with Noel Alessio at 10. Filippo Daungunu out on one wing. Hunter Paisami out on the other with Josh Fluke, Andrew Callaway, and Tom Wright as the backline. In terms of the Welsh side for this match, Gareth Thomas, Dewey Lake, and Archie Griffin in the front row. Christ Chinza and Duff Jenkins in the locking duo. So not a huge amount of experience is the thing that a lot of people have said about this Welsh side heading into this contest. But I do believe they have got more than enough talent of being able to get themselves a victory here. Currently watching both games, currently leading the Japanese 8 donut. Yeah, I did see that Japan doing very well up against the Māori All Blacks. In terms of the rest of the 4-pack, it is Tane Plumtree, Tommy Reffel, and Aaron Wainwright there as the number 8. Ellis Bevan got his first ever start at international level last week, or the week prior, sorry, up against the South Africans. He will be the starting 9 again. Ben Thomas is starting at 10 with Rio Dyer out on one wing, Josh Hathaway out on the other. Rio Dyer, of course, playing in that game up against the South Africans. Mason Grady, Owen Watkin as the midfield combination, and then Liam Williams at number 15. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are not too far away from the kickoff in this contest. Now, if you guys are new to the channel, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It is greatly appreciated you all being here for these games. One moment, we will go like that. We will go like that as well. There we go. I'm nervous for this, says Flesh in Australia hosting the next Rugby World Cup. Get your stuff together, lads, says Bystander. Yeah, it is not too far away. The 2027 Rugby World Cup, of course, is when we are going to see the Australians in action. And, you know, it's an interesting one. They got a British and Irish Lions tour before that point, which hopefully will go relatively well also. But, yeah, we will have to wait and see. But 21 minutes away from the kickoff at the moment, that says, but I believe I'm not live, am I? Yes, I am. Okay, so they said that the game was kicking off at 9:45. What they meant was 9:55 in Australia. And Sonny Bill on Aussie commentary at the moment says, and he certainly is quite similar to what they had for the Stan Sport commentary crew throughout Super Rugby Pacific. Now, this Australian side made up of quite a few Super Rugby Pacific players who have been doing extremely well. In fact, all Super Rugby Pacific, due to no overseas players being selected. That meant that we weren't going to see the likes of a Will Skelton, like a Samu Karevi. Hi Hamish, says Manny M, welcome in. Hope you are keeping well, mate, and hope you are excited for this matchup. Oh, hello Hamish, says Simran there, welcome in. And hi Hamish, says Daniel in the chat as well. Now, I will mention we had a few technical difficulties in terms of Wi-Fi for the last live stream. It does seem like some of those will continue, but we did reset the modem, so hopefully it won't go too badly. Tom Wright returns to the Wallabies after playing just 2 tests in the 2023 Rugby Championship, and he has had a phenomenal season for the Brumbies. You can understand why they've decided to put him at that number 15 jersey. That then pushes Callaway out to the right wing, and then on the other wing they have, of course, got Filippo Daungunu, who actually played a majority of his season for the Rebels in the midfield. So a bit of a change. Dad, are you enjoying my All Blacks debut, says Manny M. I guess similar to some of the other All Blacks, we didn't really see you throughout the whole game. So I guess you might have been out there, we just didn't know. Well, Tom Wright, he had a Callaway at fullback, both good, but I rate Callaway better, says Joe Webby. Yeah, although they have still got Callaway in the starting lineup, he will be out on the right wing for this game rather than at fullback. But it does seem a little bit risky in terms of the Australian backline. The fact that they have put Dalgunu back out onto the wing, but that is to make way for Josh Fluke, who had a very good season. Aussie better win well. Says Sandor. And there as well. But it's a hard one to predict because Wales, throughout that first half up against the South Africans, they weren't a slouch. They did very well, I thought, and keeping it close heading into the halftime break. So I wouldn't be surprised if we do end up seeing a pretty strong performance from Wales in this contest. I was the goalpost. And we have got there Hamish. England could have won that game. They could have. And they should have, to be honest. Like, the All Blacks were not at 100% throughout that contest. And England did play, I believe, the much better game. So I think the All Blacks will count themselves pretty lucky. But England, of course, will be gutted. They weren't able to get themselves the win. Wales paying $6.20. It's tempting to put $20 on it. And we're bloody annoying, says Fleshin. And there as well. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because Wales, the big thing is an 80-minute performance, isn't it? If they can put together 80 minutes out there on the park, they will have much more success. But the problem is they've got 40 minutes that they play well and then 40 minutes where they don't. And that 40 minutes that they don't is normally enough for them to lose a game. I'm leaning towards Wales, says Drink on the Moon. And Amen M, hope all is well, or all is good your side. For 20 on it, Wales is going to win, says Sandor for his prediction as well. Wales are suspended at Sportsbet, says Will. Does that mean that they're too high or that too many people at once have tried to put money on them? I hope all is good your side, says Blues Now in Australia 15 plus, says Mr. All In. Could be a possibility. At the end of the day, like Australia, in terms of their lineup, yes, they've got a lot of debutants and a lot of young players that they have got available in this matchup, but the guys that are there because they're in form. You know, you look through at this bench, Tom Liner, he's had a great season for the Red. Dylan Peach, he is also on debut. Charlie Cale, fantastic for the Brumbies. Blythe's there, Kylie's there, and Wallabies will have structure under Schmidt. I think they'll win reasonably comfortably. Says Easy Ollie. We never do apart from that World Cup last year. Says Fleshin. Hello, says Marius. And there, welcome in, mate. Hope you are doing very well. Of course, the next game that we are doing is South Africa versus Ireland. So be sure to tune in for that one as well. England, the Empire, a chronic loser against its colonies as well, says Katzenell. You could just talk about the rugby, Katzenell, rather than the backstories and the politics behind it. You could just say the game was a good game and just leave it at that. Australia to win by 34 points to 15, says Leo. At what time is the game meant to start for New Zealand time? It was supposed to be a 9:45 p.m. kickoff, but I saw there on Stan Sport they've said that it's actually a 9:55 kickoff, so an extra 10 minutes before the game does get underway. I really like Charlie Cale, been impressive in Super Rugby, says Joe Webby. And I wish Australia played ABs in Melbourne. It was great having them last year in the MCG. Yeah, that was an atmosphere and a half, it seemed, with about, I can't remember how many they had. Was it 80,000 for that contest, which was pretty awesome. New Zealand almost lost that game between England and Dunedin, 16 points to 15. Yep, we did see it. And yeah, they were very close to unfortunately getting that one wrong. What time is kickoff in South Africa? It will be in 15 minutes' time that one has taken place. And England is the king of the north. And also lucky All Blacks, says Manny M. And Wales' last win here was 1969. That's the year that my dad was born. Maybe it's a sign. It's probably not, but see whether or not Wales can cause a massive away win. How bad was the kicking by England? 10. Says Annoy, how bad was the kicking from Damien McKenzie? At least any time Marcus Smith had an opportunity at the post, he actually kicked the ball. Can we please make more comments on politics, Irish? I want to hear some political discussion on this channel. No. you can find a politics channel to do that. And yeah, but we won the game. Bro, so what's your point? Says Choke the Woke. And back in the summer of 69. And what did Torito say? Hawaii Moana. I'd like to see Australia would fare, or I'd like to see how Australia would fare against France and Ireland. And I believe November is when we do get to see that take place. George Fairbanks have been getting much love from AB and South African fans. Yeah, he had a phenomenal game. Maro Itoje, as much as people like to dislike Maro Itoje, I don't think we can deny the fact that he actually had a very strong game up against the All Blacks. He was in pretty much every breakdown that he got the opportunity in. And yeah, he caused a lot of havoc around that breakdown. Be good to hear Dean from Dunedin on SENZ radio on Monday. He will be moaning, says Hanoi. this game only 15 minutes away, like I mentioned, ladies and gentlemen, from taking place. They always tell us the wrong times here in New Zealand. It's a little bit similar to Super Rugby. They tell us the game's starting at a certain time and then they delay it a little bit more. Fairbanks look good. Says Hanoi. Yeah, quite a few of the English players you could say did look relatively strong. Like Fiwa Bosso, I think, did well out on his wing. In the midfield, Ollie Lawrence was massive for the English. Henry Slade had his moments. Alex Mitchell, he kind of did what he needed to. Smith, running-wise, was solid. His kicking, not so much, but his running-wise it was. Looks like Nick White is getting interviewed at the moment. 66 Wallabies caps for that man, although he is not going to be playing today. Starting 9 is going to be Jake Gordon, and the replacement 9, Tate McDermott, for this contest. No junkyard dog Tim Ryan, not for this game, no. They have got Dylan Peach and Tom Liner, who will be coming off the bench. Itoje is a great player. I feel for him. When England lose, he deserves so much more. Australia versus Wales last match, Rugby World Cup. Wales 44, Aussie 6, says Hawaiian boy. Yeah, so quite a difference, I would say, compared to what we're going to see in this contest. I think that it should be a lot closer between these two sides here. Are you going to Bell's 18th in Waimea later this year? Going to Bell's 18th. Who's Bell? Like Bell's Pond? Or who's Bell? Are you telling me ABs in England would have been a draw, Hamish? When? When did I say that? Mr. Orland, and congratulations to Razor. Says Manny M. They've just got their key to victory for the Australians is to win the aerial game. Now, they have got some talented players under the high ball, whether that is Tom Wright, whether it is Callaway Dalgunu. Pretty solid as well. Cadbury sponsor, or Wallaby sponsor is Cadbury, full-on halal certified. Says Joke the Woke and Liam Wright very chilled. His work rate speak on the field. Yeah, like him being the captain, I think was a bit of a surprise for some people, but then saying that, like who else was it going to be? Maybe James Slipper, but he is getting close to the end of his Wallabies career. Rob Valentini could have been an option we see there. Getting the big handshake from Joe Schmidt in the changing sheds. Did you see the Baby Blacks defeated France in the Under-20 World Cup? I did, by the 1 point in the end. A very close game. And one word for Hamish. Pizza, says Gary. Is TG going to play with that knee? I have no idea. We don't know the extent of the injury as of yet. He didn't go on in the second half. That was with Finlay Christie replacing him, but I've heard no update on how his knee is. It looked like it wasn't as bad as it could have been for the angle that he did get it crushed. Aussie is going to lose. Wales are bad, but Aussie pretty naff, says Sandor. And W Slipper could get to 147 tests by the end of the year, says Annoy. And next week's game is going to be the teller. Both teams take a lot out of this game. Trying to figure out all the points on the table, says Mr. All-In. And hope Australia win for wildcard sake, says Gordon. Yeah, he's been a loyal supporter of the Australians for a long time. Hopefully, they will be able to get over the line in this one. Although Wales, it would be great to see them also get a victory in this matchup. Both of these sides need it, and the problem that they've got is one of the sides that don't get it here, unfortunately, it is going to be a pretty sad one. I've never heard Andrew Callaway talk, but man, the man's got a deep voice. I think they might have interviewed him in the morning. And what happened to your co-host? Which one? Which one we talking? And Japan defense is strong at the moment, keeping Māori ABs scoreless before half-time. I'm going to be honest, the Giant AB's white collar looks bizarre, says Albert. Should give Pro TV commentary a go, Hamish. Should be great, says Asher. And as Samoa and Spain also this weekend. So it is going to be next weekend that one does take place. Samoa playing yesterday up against the Italians. So they have got Spain next week. And Fiji, I don't believe they have a game next week. They actually have to wait till the USA before they do get their next opportunity. The Wallabies are a disgrace, says Matthew Lang. Although, to be fair, we don't know what's going to happen with this new-look Wallabies team. Like I mentioned, the most debuts in 44 years that Joe Schmidt has gone with in this lineup. Eddie Jones, that man's name is mud at the moment when you look at this Australian team. He got them their worst ever finish in the World Cup, sold them up the river, took the big contract in Japan, and then left them in a massive hole. But Joe Schmidt has decided that he wants to try and get them out of that hole. How did Georgia and Fiji's game go? Fiji in the end winning it, I believe it was 21 points to 12 in the end. And that collar did look good with dirt on it. Another word for you, Hamish, burger. Says Gary, I'm always tough on Australia, but man, the disrespect is mental. They were in the quarterfinals, weren't they? No, they didn't make it to the quarterfinals of the Rugby World Cup. They were knocked out in the group stage, first time ever that they had been knocked out before reaching a quarterfinal. Hamish, whereas Georgie is at his house, I believe he was playing Farming Simulator before, after the All Blacks game had come to a close. Looking through at the starting lineups for these two sides, ladies and gentlemen, there are some key players. Rob Valentini, I believe, for the Australians will be absolutely crucial. He is going head-to-head with Aaron Wainwright, who is bringing up his 50th cap for the Australians in this match at Allianz Stadium. Farm Simulator says Hanoi, and KFC for Hamish says Blues Nate, and Joe is a double agent, just like Rennie and Deans before him. And for World Rugby, needs a decent Wallabies. I'm watching both split screen, Australia, Wales, and Māori All Blacks, Japan XV. Although I think it's actually, is it Japan XV or is it Japan this week that are playing? I'm going to have a quick look, because there might be a chance that it's not the Japan XV. Oh no, it is the Japan XV, my apologies, 8-0 at the moment in that one. Farming Simulator 22 is awesome. Roll on November for 25. We need it badly, but I don't think we have any cohesion in this team to do it. The fact Gats won't pick only from the Welsh, or from the only Welsh team to do well this year, is strange. And the shape of Jamie Roberts' head is mental. It's a solid Swede, you could say. Hamish, you think Razor would be happy with the ABs? I mean, he'll be happy they won, but there's a lot that they could have done differently throughout that game up against the English. And Aussies were better off staying with Dave Rennie as coach instead of bringing in Eddie Jones at the last minute. Yeah, that was a bad decision at the end of the day. Like, Eddie Jones, his whole mentality was, don't blame the players, blame me. And then as soon as the players were starting to get the blame, he was like, oh, by the way, I'm going to Japan. See you later, mates. See you all. We'll see you later. And, you know, I wish him success at Japan, but he could have been a bit nicer to the Australians. He didn't have to drag them completely down to rock bottom before he decided to go back to the Japanese side, bring in Peter Lakai, Tasmania M. And we have got their one game down, 13 to go, says Novmum. And there as well. But yeah, James Slipper on that front row alongside Taniela Tupou. I hope to see at least a 50-minute performance out of that man before he ends up with some sort of injury, which he normally does, unfortunately. Eddie Jones readout of ideas years ago. Ran out of ideas, I think that is, years ago. And Pineapple has its legitimate place on both burger and pizza. Please discuss 1, 2, 3, go. Says Gary. Eddie Jones ran out of ideas years ago, says Drink on the Moon there as well. But off the bench, I'm looking forward to seeing Tom Lino. Of course, we got the news that Carter Gordon was going to leave, which did mean now that there is a new opportunity. Thoughts on 2 cents, Quinn, YouTube? I didn't know that he had. I think he was streaming the All Blacks versus England game, if I'm not wrong. Plus, he's probably released about 15 videos this week. So I didn't realise that was the case, if he is. For the sake of the good championship, hope we all looking for a solid Aussie performance tonight, says Simon. I thought you were tripping up Hanoi Birds. And did England deserve to win in your opinion? I think so. And I know that that's not a popular opinion if you're someone from New Zealand, but I thought they did enough to be able to get themselves the victory in that contest. And New Zealand, you know, they did get a little bit lucky, but at the end of the day, that's what you need sometimes in a game of rugby. If you're only split by 1 point and you're on that side that's got the 1 point advantage, you still win the game, whether it was a tough fought victory or an easy one. But the All Blacks going into next week, I'm sure they'll have a lot that they do want to get right. Him and Tony retiring in the south of France, says Sandor. And let's go, Joe Schmidt. Put that bounce back into Wallabies, says Blues Nate. And let's keep our Southern Hemisphere rugby superiority, says Nick there. But that man has got a Welsh hat on, dragon. He is waiting for them to make their way onto the field. Wins a win, says Simon Barnes. Exactly right. And it doesn't change the history books, whether it was by 1 point or 50 points. What is New Zealand's weakness? Tell us, please, Hamish. Well, we can go into a little bit more in depth probably in an upcoming video rather than the start of a Wales versus Australia match. But Michael Hooper about to bring the ball out onto the field. He has retired. 2 cents announced on stream today that he will quit YouTube at the end of July, says Matthew Lang. I did not know that. I'll probably have to watch it first because, as you can probably understand, people can say anything they want on YouTube chat, and you kind of have to believe them, but I'll see. If that is the case, then it's been a long, illustrious career for 2 cents. It'll be a bit sad. I must have missed that announcement then, says Simon. And definitely beetroot and the burger. Not sure about the pizza, though. What's your score prediction for this one? I am thinking I think both sides are going to get over 20 points, which will be pretty awesome. But, we can only hope that it is a high-scoring game between the two sides. So we'll have to wait and see whether or not that is the case. Aussie can't be fixed from the top. They got to get their grassroots sorted. A beetroot and a burger is a must for a hamburger. Crowd looking electric at the moment at Allianz Stadium. They know that this is not just a new era of the All Blacks that we've just witnessed, but we're going to see a new era of the Wallabies now. National anthems are being sung, says Daniel. They certainly are. Do you understand me if I say Schmidt it in, boys? No. We have got there. Razor got his first win tonight. Congrats on you, Scotty. Not a huge beetroot fan. Goes well on a burger, though. True, says Simon. The national anthem's about to be sung. Fraser McWright, he needs a big performance. That man's neck has grown since Super Rugby by the looks of it. Added a bit more girth to it. Oh no, they're doing the welcome to country first, and then it will be the national anthem. So the Australians, I think they're going to be even more delayed for their kickoff. As you can see there, it was supposed to be at 9:45. We're already 6 minutes past that, and we're going to be waiting a little bit longer. And you need to watch the Kickoffs podcast for Schmidt in it, says Razor. And I watch it later, Hamish. He said he can't deal with the negativity and haters on YouTube anymore and is walking away, says Matthew Lang in there as well. I mean, I will have a look at it. I'll believe you for now, but, like I said, you can't believe everything that you read in a YouTube chat. Someone said that they were like Razor Robertson. That's not the real Scott Robinson, even though if we zoom in on him, look at that, he's on a surfboard. But this isn't actually Scott Robinson, so, not that I know of anyway. It'd be a bit of a weird time for him to be on a live stream after just finishing the game. Is the stadium full? I haven't seen too many stadium shots yet. Like, it's a decent crowd. I feel like they'll be happy enough with it. I know since it's the nicest community on YouTube because he goes heavy on the band hammer, says Simon there. And Eddie Jones would have been a good second-hand car salesman, says Ryan. He reminds me of that guy off Matilda. The one that's played by Danny DeVito. He reminds me of him. This year has to be the rebirth of the Wallabies. Australia cannot be weak entering the Lions tour next year. Yeah, like at the end of the day, we want to see a competitive Lions tour. And, if we don't get it, I feel like that really hurts the Australians. The good news after that is they have another 12 years before they have another British and Irish Lions tour. Eddie Jones is in a trailer. Or a traitor, says Amanda M. That Razor little Moko boy, says Blue's name, and my real name is Razor. Yeah, but you're not Scott Robertson, are you? Valentini going to be big tonight. Is Razor there as well. But the welcome to country has been said, ladies and gentlemen, which means we are very close to the start of this contest. Do let me know your score predictions in the chat as well while we are at it. I think that this Welsh side, hopefully similar to what we saw in the last game up against South Africa, they are able to stay competitive for a while. And then after that, maybe that is when we start to see a little bit more momentum going the way of the Australians. As the match started, it is not. They are delayed by about 15 minutes just because it's a game that's taken place in Australia, and that always seems to happen. Come on, man. I thought kickoff was at 5:45 a.m. And I see that one Wallaby player was laughing at that speech, says JP. Let's hope for a close and entertaining game. Wales are truly dreadful and Australia not in their best, or not at their best, but hopefully we can have a good game. That's the thing. A lot of people have said that this is the one of the weekend that they're not looking forward to. But I'll be honest, this is one of those intriguing ones in terms of the matchup because, like it's been said, both of them are a little bit out of form. Both of them don't know what their future holds, but this could be the start of something for these two sides because someone's going to get a series win under their belt, unless, of course, we get a draw, then, it is what it is. My score prediction is Ireland winning over South Africa, says Katzenel. And they're not sure, Hamish, nervous for Joe. Warren G got the G-Funk happening for Wales. We have got there, Māori All Blacks not playing well. Izzy Walker Leawiri dropping more balls, says Razor. Well, he didn't really have the best handling throughout Super Rugby, which is one of the main reasons, I believe, why he did miss out on the All Blacks. How could you not look forward to it after putting up with Super Rugby Pacific, says Sandor. And is there no other coach in Wales besides Warren Gatland? Well, I mean, they've had other coaches and then they all get sacked. Warren Gatland, like he said, if he knew the state of Welsh rugby, he wouldn't have taken the job. And he has made that evidently clear. I think it was last year or the year prior. He said, if I knew what kind of show this was, I wouldn't have even stepped into Wales, but he's there now. He's with a young side that need his help, need his guidance, and we'll have to wait and see whether or not it works for him. What changes would you make for next week's Test versus England? Well, we will be, of course, doing a video on that in the near future, so I won't go through them now. Like I said, this one just about to start, so it would be a weird time to start listing off All Blacks. But the Australian national anthem being sung by the Australian Rugby Choir. I would say that the average age of that choir is about 74. But boy, do they have some pipes on them. How long was he out of Wales before going back, says Sandor? It was a little while, as has a family to feed, says Gatson for Warren. Low scoring game, Wales 12, Australia 9. Gatlin stuffed up the Chiefs when he coached for a season, says Joe Webby. It was a Michael Cheika's era where this downfall began. I mean, there are a few, like Australian rugby, some would say hasn't even been good for the last 20 years. Like Robbie Dean seemed like he was doing something right, but then of course he was gone. And then Dave Rennie, as much as people like to dislike Dave, like there were times that it almost was working all right for the Wallabies under him, but then he got sacked. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Wales have to stay ahead. Can't let the Aussies in. We always let our teams back. So fingers crossed the boys can pull it off. And I should mention the Australian Super Rugby sides, when playing in Australia, often do have quite the advantage in terms of the way that they play compared to how they play when they are outside of Australia. So that would warrant quite nicely for this Aussie side. Yep, Dwayne Peel. But he's not gone too well for the Scarlets. As Aussie team's been strong in Super Rugby this season. They've been a lot stronger. They've won the most games, I think, ever up against New Zealand sides throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season, so that is a bonus. Anyone enlighten me on why Christie wasn't awarded a turnover last few minutes, says Sphinx. There were a few interesting penalties overall. That last breakdown, looking at it about 3 or so times afterwards, I don't think the All Blacks should have had that penalty, but they did. So, you know, little decisions could have gone either way throughout that contest. But it's going to be Pierre Brousset who is in charge of this one, the French referee, New Zealand as the assistant, and the other assistant, James Dolman and Ben O'Keefe. Now, we are ready for the kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go, says Daniel. Who would you say is the Eddie Jones of England and New Zealand? Says Katsano. There's not really another Eddie Jones, is there? And that's why some people love Eddie Jones, because he adds something different to, like, the coaching. You know, you don't have the same old, oh, the boys went all right. You know, we could have done a little bit more. You get a little bit of, he'll swear at you and call you some words to your face. But now, it's going to be kicked off by Thomas for the Welsh. And we are underway for this contest, ladies and gentlemen. The rebuild for the Aussies has begun, and it's nicely taken by Filippo Dalgunu inside of the Wallabies 22. Have to make sure that they start this match well here for the Australians. What a crowd in Dunedin went to the game. Says Shane, and let's go Aussie, says Razor. When Folau was playing for the Wallabies, they were good. Their sponsor from Qantas got involved and got Folau out, and Aussie have been slowly going downhill since. Says Joe Webby, nice clearing kick from the Australians, gets it down towards the halfway line. That was from Jake Gordon, who has had a great Super Rugby Pacific season for the Waratahs. Now, it's weird to say, isn't it? Because the Waratahs, of course, finishing bottom of the bunch in Super Rugby Pacific, but he was one of the standouts who helped keep them alive a bit longer. Now Bevan on across there to Thomas as first receiver. Nice pace being shown there from Josh Hathaway, I should say. A low tackle made on Dewey Lake. They are 40 metres out from the line. Rio Dyer will be patiently waiting out on that wing. They have decided to cross kick it to the other, and that's well taken by Gordon again. Dunedin is pumping, says Shane. Oh, hang on. Oh, the TMO's got in his ear for the referee. No arms tackle coming from James Slipper. So TMO, 90 seconds in, has already found something off the ball that he would like to go back for, and it will be the penalty to Wales. New rules say that they are allowed to do so. They don't have to wait till the end of play. They can call it live and let the referee know as it happens. I have a master plan for breakfast, pancakes with bacon, banana, and maple syrup. Don't hate me. I'm making myself hungry, says Gary, and red card, says Sandor. Yeah, looks like they are going to be lining up the 3 points here. Will be Ben Thomas does get the first kicking opportunity. Now, Damien McKenzie as well as Marcus Smith in the earlier international between New Zealand and England, both missing their first shot at the posts. What do you think about the live calls? I think it's going to heavily, that's the thing. We actually went on a bit of not a rant per se, but we talked about it a lot on Samoa versus Italy's matchup, because we talked about how the referees are always supposed to be the ones who are getting it correct, and they don't like calling out when a referee gets it wrong, whereas the TMO with these new laws can constantly correct a referee, which kind of takes away that ref's credibility just a little bit. TMOs don't belong on the field, says Mark. Now Thomas to line up the kick, and he's got it. 3-0 for Wales after 3 minutes. His name is Slipper. He's a Dolphins taking a dive. Says it was there from Blues, Nate. A little bit of a smirk from Warren Gatlin. They're only a sly smile. You can catch a penalty in every ruck if you look hard enough, says Sandor. Do you still work at the bowling alley? I do not know. Now, it's going to be kicked off here. Now, trying to slap that one back was Tom Wright. Dewey Lake. Now, hits it up. Nice work from Archie Griffin. Make a couple more metres for the Welsh. It does seem like they are setting up for a pocket kick here. And live calls are amazing when it works. They got that Barrett call terribly wrong earlier, though. Says Easy Ollie. I believe silence is more intimidating than boos when kicks are to be made, says Bystander. Nicely claimed by Australia off the kick of Wales. Now Liam Wright going in behind. Noah Lolesio finds it into the hands of Matt Faisler, who managed to get himself around 8 tries throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season. Did your sleep schedule ever recover from the World Cup? Do you still wake up at 5 a.m? Sleep schedule is still not, 5 p.m. Sleep schedule, hasn't recovered. I haven't got a full night's sleep since that World Cup, which is quite sad because that's 9 months ago. But yeah, we're still feeling it. Unfortunately, it completely broke the sleep schedule, and because of all the rugby that we've got on, that's a beautiful kick from Noah Lolesio, and it's going to be well cleaned up by Thomas. Josh Fluke looking for the turnover, can't get it. The rest of TMO are ruining rugby, TMO influence. Where will it end up? Says Arthur there. Well, there'll be a stage soon that the TMOs are just in charge. That is a penalty to the Wallabies. Rob Ballatini getting over the ball and winning the penalty against his opposite number, Wainwright, who didn't release it. I feel that while I have a bit of money on the team, TMO is my friend. I've given up on refereeing, says Drink on the Moon. Now looking to kick this one towards the touchline for Noah Lolesio. They have gone aggressive here rather than going for the 3 points. I want to turn it into some big points earlier. Matt Faisler, like I mentioned, he has scored a lot of tries for the Reds throughout the season, a majority of those tries coming from the rolling maul. So I don't think this game is going to be any different. Nicely claimed by Liam Wright. Currently 6 metres out from the line for Matt Faisler. He's going to leave it alone for Jake Gordon, who goes away. Noah Lolesio looping around, gets it away to Callaway. Rush defence there from Liam Williams. Manages to shut it down, and it will be back for another penalty. Oh, the referee's just smacked Noah Lolesio in the face. He didn't mean to, but he got him pretty solidly. He's knocked Noah Lolisio's nose sideways there. They're going to take a shot at the post this time, I should say. Looks like a good scrum. And it may be a hot take, but my opinion is I'd rather get the call right. Always felt odd when a TMO gets the right call, but people complain that they were interfering in the game, said Simon Barnes. The problem that they've got, though, is some of the times the TMO miss things that should be obvious penalties. And also there are times when they spend 5 minutes checking something that could have been sorted out in 1. They always talk about how they want to speed up the game. I agree with the fact that if it's the right decision, it's correct. But there are also a lot that the TMO miss. So at what stage do you find that even ground? South Africa versus Ireland will be a good game, says Shane Hayes. It certainly will be. Noah Lolesio now lining up this kick, and it has gone over, making the score now 3-3 between these two sides. Why is the Springboks under team so poor by standard? Says Manny M. The Boks are out for blood, says Sandor. Yeah, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because when doing the research for that match, you learn that Ireland are on a 3-match winning streak against South Africa. And I got a lot of hate for saying that, but that's true. That's the last 3 matches that they've played. You agree with that? The execution as the issue. Need to consider how to do it without the baggage, says Simon. They speed up the game, but the ref stops it. for any small thing and for how long, says Seller. Look at the guys in the changing room before the game. They don't seem to have the stature, the ABs and the Springboks. Here's Arthur. Going to be a kicked high from Jake Gordon, kick downfield and into touch. We're already 7 minutes into this contest. Wales are yet to really have a proper attacking chance. And how dare you point out facts, says Sandor. Yeah, they get you in trouble in the rugby world. I've learnt that throughout that Rugby World Cup as well as afterwards. You know, you can't say something that's a fact because then people think that you're... Like, I got called sour grapes for pointing out the fact that Ireland have done pretty well up against South Africa in recent times. So, of course, they always go, you're a New Zealander, you must be salty about the Rugby World Cup final, rather than just the stat. A nice run from Wayne right now, going to the short side, skip pass from Thomas. He's frustrated. He's saying, why didn't you get that one? And the wing is going because it was in the crowd. I say facts all the time and I get told off. Says Crumpus, yeah, although yours are fabricated normally, Crumpus. Remember when you said that England were going to dominate New Zealand, which you could say they did at times, but they didn't win that game, did they? And we have got, yeah, truth hurts the ego, Hamish. Both things are true, says Sandor. It's a nice pass from Nololisio. Goes away to Andrew Callaway. They have numbers. Tom Wright up the middle, moves up to the 22 here for the Australians. Gordon recycles quickly. Fluke with the inside ball to Rob Valentini. Can Australia strike first? In terms of the tries argument from South Africa's Pollard and Villy didn't play in their last game against Ireland. Says Albert, that's a beautiful cross kick. I'm sure Ireland had players that didn't play in that game too, though. Like, you can always look at injuries and say that they make the difference, but you can only field the team that you can field. Like, and you can't say that the opposition, it's their fault because you don't have your team available due to injury. Now, nice run forward. Again from James Slipper. They are 10 metres out from the line, playing under penalty advantage at the moment. Little kick in behind from Nololisio. No one chasing for Australia. So they will go back for the penalty. Seemed like the vid ref, I get it right more often in rugby. So, in the NRL, and apologies, Hamish, I would like to say a good 10% of us, maybe more, all the best, but from South Africa, says Mark. And I would rather South Africa is salty about their record against Ireland. Can't see it in the box selection for today, says JR. Like, when you look at the South African side today, that's a good side, you know, and it is going to be an intriguing game because, you know, by that argument that Albert was saying about how they didn't have certain players in the World Cup, if Ireland lose this series, do they say it's because they didn't have Gibson Park, who was their 9 throughout the Rugby World Cup? See what I mean? How you can take little parts and just fit your narrative? Yeah, it's going to be another penalty for Nololisio and the Australians. Hope the Aussies turn things around and become a force to be reckoned with again. Looks like Valentini's just getting a little bit of medical attention. They will certainly not want this to be anything serious. We need this win, says Simon Barnes. We have got their happy birthday, mate, says bystander. We have got the I'm neutral in this game, but want Wales to win. So not really neutral, says Brian. Okay, so you're neutral with a little bit of a scoop on one side of the fence. So that's missed for Nololisio. Yeah, but Marnie Lebok missed 12 points in this game. He didn't. He missed 6. Faf de Klerk missed 2 kicks in that contest. It wasn't just Marnie Lebok who missed them. I know that Marnie Lebok gets a huge amount of stick, but in that game, Faf de Klerk took 2 kicks and he missed them both. So Marnie Lebok is not the sole one to blame. You could even blame Faf de Klerk because Faf de Klerk's combined points that he could have got from that game was 6 that he missed. Marnie Lebok's was only 5. So when you look at the stats, really it's Faf de Klerk's fault if you're going off that. But now, nicely taken by the Australians just inside of their own half. Filippo Dongunu getting wrestled towards the halfway line and towards the touchline as well. Little chip behind from Nololisio. Well claimed by Lukan Salakai Lotto. I just hope the same thing in the All Black supporter. I'm an All Black supporter. This Australian game looks promising. That was a massive shot there on the Australian. Nololisio gets back up and it looks like they will go back. Faf shouldn't be taking kicks though. Marnie was the main kicker and failed, says Justin. He maybe shouldn't have been taking kicks, but he did take 2 and missed 2. And come on, Australia, Wales. I have a sport teacher who was from Wales. Why the Springbok hate you saltier than biltong, says Sandor. But that's the thing. See what I mean? It turns from stating what happened to people getting frustrated because you state what happened and they confuse it as being salty. Like, I've predicted South Africa to win that game up against Ireland, yet somehow I'm a hater. And apparently I don't like the Springboks, even though we've covered more of their games than almost any other side in terms of, like, the last few years. And did finish the half, but not look too bad or not look as awkward. Sometimes I feel for Mani. It gets a lot of stick. Then again, he is a stormer, says Matthew. And Amish put it on the black jersey and show us your rugby skills. Are you going live for Argentina? We are indeed. How many minutes will Daniel Tupo last tonight? Hopefully more than 45. Like, there is a chance that he gets injured. Unfortunately, it's just happened often. Now, big scrum from the Australians. And that is a massive one against the feed. Hamish, you can't please everyone. Maybe you should mind the commentary, says Arthur. Let's be honest, these games are going to be really good, but ultimately we all want to see Box versus the All Blacks, says Jay McIntyre, says Patrick White. Welcome in, Patrick. Now another opportunity for the Wallabies to add the extra 3 as Will Skelton injured. He is not. It's just that Joe Schmidt purely picked players who were playing in Australia, which is why he also does not have Samu Karevi in his side here. Doesn't have Marika Kurumbetti. Via the comment section on YouTube uploads, you read out chat thread. You'll need counselling, bud, says bystander there. And a 3-6 lead. If you can stop spoiling, Daniel, that would be appreciated. The internet is funny. From the New Zealand game, you were 1 minute ahead of the Oz stream, but for this you're behind, says Annoy. It is weird, isn't it? Scoreboard hopefully is ticking over not too badly. Just came back from All Blacks versus England, says Patrick. Now lining up this kick. And he has got that one over this time. 6 points to 3 in favour of the Wallabies. No tries being scored as of yet. Look how packed the stadium is tonight. Rugby's still alive in Australia. No, my time is ahead of yours, says Daniel. Yeah, but you don't have to type it before we mention about it, if that makes sense. And be honest, how much time you spend on Afrikaans pronunciation, you're pretty good, says Sandor. Right when we started covering the Curry Cup and, you know, South African games and whatnot, I would just spend hours and hours trying to make sure that I got somewhere close to the pronunciation. Of course, we still get a few wrong, but we wanted to make sure we were pretty close to correct for a start anyway. And Karevi is such a good player, makes good decisions consistently. It's a shame he's not in, says Joe Webby. Now Liam Williams will kick it high, returning the kick for Wales. Lolesio, again under the high ball. Now, Taniela Tupou chopped down well, and that is going to be an offside penalty. We didn't see a single one of those throughout New Zealand versus England that I know of anyway, or maybe one throughout it for an advantage, but they will go back for the original penalty again. El Limo is just because people want to win Super Rugby and not worth it, says Simon Barnes. I love the effort you put into the pronunciation. Thanks from South Africa, says Brett Fish. And of course, the next game we are going to have on the channel is actually Ireland versus South Africa. That one's going to be a massive game. We're starting in less than 4 hours' time. We've got an hour of build-up for that contest. We're going to be looking through at a lot of stats, which is either going to make people annoyed, or hopefully they do enjoy them. Of course, last time South Africa played Ireland in South Africa, they were victorious. And the interesting thing is, quite a few of that lineup are still the same as what the Springboks do have today. Has Nisbo retired yet? He is not, no. How much well done on the AB's win. As you know, cost Springbok supporters loyalty lies with Southern Hemisphere teams. Let's take it today. Viva Southern Hemisphere teams, says Roz there. Now line out throw. It's going to be Matt Faisler again. Oh, they're looking for a new ball by the looks of it. One of them was a bit too flat. Now Faisler. This one in. Nicely taken at the front. Jake Gordon goes across there to Hunter Paisami. Looping around was Filippo Dalgunu, who actually found himself almost running like an outside centre there, similar to the rest of the Super Rugby Pacific season. Now Faisler again, trying to go through. Christ Chinza. Did he take a knock there? He doesn't look too flash at the moment, the big number 4 for the Welsh, but this has been good defence so far from Wales. The only criticism is maybe the fact that they are just rushing up a little bit too quick. Watching the game on SuperSport in South Africa, seemed like you were about a minute behind, says JR. That is Sky Sports summarised pretty much here in New Zealand. Jake Gordon now going back across Noah Lalicio. Away to Fraser McWright. Christ Chinzano over the ball this time, and that has to be a penalty, doesn't it? No. Referee says he did not do enough to get that turnover. My biggest worries in Box vs Ireland game is that Hamish may lose his voice during the match, says Brian. That's a penalty this time going the way of Wales. I don't think the voice will disappear, mainly because, it sounds weird, but 4 games of international rugby is not that much in terms of the amount that we have talked over the last few weeks. We've done Super Rugby, we've done URC. Some of those weekends we were doing 6 or 7 games throughout a 24-hour period. So only having the 4 is actually going to be quite nice on the voice, I think. I hope so, Many. Australia quick on the recycling the ball, love it. Says Ruthless there. Now Thomas will kick it into touch again for the Welsh. We're currently 18 minutes in this one. You've had longer nights than tonight. Exactly right. So, as long of a night as it will seem, I think it's actually going to be pretty timid for us. I think that voice has done 20 hours non-stop, says Arthur. That's correct. So, yeah, we'll be all right, hopefully. Unless something really random happens and it stops working. I haven't been so hyped for a regular international season test as I am for this South Africa Ireland game in a long time. So much pre-game drama. Let's go Bok and let's go Wallabies. I should be doing a shot of beer every score, says Xander. Looks like James Slipper has been strapped up on his leg. It was actually his knee that was giving him a bit of trouble. Light show was good at halftime at the AB's game. Fluke is hopeless, says Annoy. Oh, he is on debut, isn't he? Oh, beautifully done by the Australian line-out. Fraser McWright now looping it around. Fluke trying to break through. Tackled by Aaron Wainwright. Gordon to Fezler with the short ball to Lucan Salakaya Lotto. And another advantage going against the Welsh. Do the Northern teams even care about this window anymore? Seems like a development tour. Season away. I mean, that's the thing. This is probably the Welsh best. Well, not maybe the best lineup, but this is close to their strongest side at the moment. So I know that they could get criticised a bit, but they don't have that same player depth as they did have throughout their Rugby World Cup. There's no Dan Bigger now. There's no Alwyn Jones. They don't have Lewis Rees-Zammit, of course, playing in the NFL. They are going to be missing a lot of their guys, and also a few injuries have struck them later on in the season, which hasn't helped too much. But for France, I would say absolutely it is, because they've just gone pretty much with a whole new side, with the exception of a couple players. So I hope Argentina win, just because I feel like that would really hurt the Pumas' confidence. Do we know who the ref is? He is French. Beret, I think it was. Possibly, I could be wrong there. Hamish doesn't drink, so we can gift him every point scored, says Arthur. And there as well. Now, big run from Daniela Tupou, trying to run over the top of Tommy Reffel. Rob Valentini, 5 metres from the line. Christ Chinza trying to hold him up with the maul. Unsuccessful this time, though. Fezler, still 5 out. Gordon joins the breakdown, which means now Liam Wright, the captain, goes off to Daniela Tupou. It's not, mate. Getz has ignored a few decent players, says Fleshin in there as well. Yeah, there were always... there are a few that have been out of this Welsh side, which, I mean, it's weird, isn't it? But a few sides have got those play. Oh, that's close. Fezler, 2 metres out from the try line. Now that's very close, and he may have just flattened out, but I think he's half an inch short. Daniela Tupou, he is over, and Australia score the first try of the contest. And what about new teams in Super Rugby? What about them? And we have got the Hamish is super healthy, no tea, coffee, or cool drinks or alcohol. Nah, I'm not very healthy, to be honest. Health-wise, anyway, but food-wise, I don't do too badly. Nothing like last night's leftover curry for lunch, and Tupou in for the try, says Ruthless Dong. And for me, Ireland only win if Crowley suddenly becomes a rugby god. No one else in the squad to take a victory, says Jimbo. Yeah, it's going to be important that that backline for Ireland functions, because... having Craig Casey at 9 as well is an interesting one, because, of course, no Jamison Gibson Park, which was one of the main reasons that ruck speed has been so effective for the Irish throughout recent times. Ushtanli Alatupo try, yeah, big Tongan Thor getting over the try line, gets a spank from Jake Gordon. Enjoy a hot and spicy meal now and then. Says drink on the moon. Oh, Brusset has actually just sent one of the Welsh players to the bin. By the sounds of it. It might have been Gareth Thomas, the Irish 9, going to be targeted for sure. Hamish only vice is loose woman. And Osborne going to be under a lot of pressure tonight, says Justin. And let's go, big boy, says the Blues. No, Hamish's poison of choice is no sleep. Australia score, pack it up. Game over, says Doctor. Although we're still pretty early on in the contest. 20 minutes in, though, and it is a great start. It sounds like they are talking to Michael Hooper at the moment. Already, Australia have scored more points in this game than they did up against Wales in that Rugby World Cup competition. Filippo Dungunu has put that ball into touch. Lol Hoot says a bystander. I found both games, the first 25 minutes or so, have absolutely flown by. And then it starts to go a little bit slower. But Gareth Thomas not being on the field could be quite a hurtful moment here for the Welsh. I'm not actually sure what he got yellow carded for either. I think it was something that was already under advantage. Osborne nowhere near good enough yet. Maybe next cycle, says Jimbo. Dan Wales are going to get assaulted. Says under, and glad for Australia, good start. Says Albert now looking for the rolling maul. They are 22 metres out from the line. And they have got the penalty advantage to work with here to Wales. Māori AB's in a bit of trouble, too many mistakes. Says drink on the moon. And Japan XP came in as $9 underdogs here in New Zealand, which I was very surprised about, seeing as they did pretty well the last time two sides went head-to-head. They're just going back because of a drop ball from Liam Williams, and we have got another penalty in this matchup. We knew it was going to be a heavily penalised game. 6 in the air. That was Liam Wright, who has been penalised. The captain for the Australians. Already looks like there's some deep breaths being taken by both of these sides. And also Thomas will be kicking this one for the corner rather than going for the 3 points. They will put them about 12 metres from the line. I've just said it's an interesting call to go for touch when you've got 14 men on the field. But I think it might be the right one. If they can get this right here, which once again the Australians win early, so another advantage. Yeah, I felt bad for them after Eddie, says Mark. Australia 37, Wales 13. Now Bevan trying to get this ball. He's been told to use it once. Goes off to Thomas. Little grubber in behind. Good pace being shown. Oh, was there a clear grounding there? If Callaway did not ground that, Rio Dyer may have just scored the try. And where are they playing? They are playing in Sydney for this contest. It's being grounded by Red, says James Dolman. It's just whether or not there is an initial grounding that does take place. Let's be honest, the gene pools in Wales is not very large, says Sandor. And early tackle, says Salah. They will also probably check for that. I felt bad for them when they got Eddie. All right, they just want to see whether or not there is a knock-on first. Did Andrew Callaway get this one down? This could be a big call here. Glenn Newman in charge, right. So Wales tried to slap it away. That might be a knock-on against the Welsh player. Because if it's not a knock-on, there is a hand, just a partial knock-on. Because if that wasn't the case, it would have been a try for Rio Dyer. There we go. What's going? What are you saying, mate? Says Vision and MLB Rebels being scrapped. I still hope. Nah, they're gone, unfortunately, for the Melbourne Rebels. But, you know, who knows? Maybe in the future we could see them back one day, but I don't see it being very likely. 24 minutes into this contest, and it is a disallowed try for the Welsh. Are you watching this on Stan? I am not. I'm watching this on Sky Sport now here in New Zealand. Once again, they are going for the corny here, Wales, rather than taking on the easy 3 points. Knocked it instead of slapping it like slap that. Here's a Blues, Nate. Better work there from the Australians to join that rolling maul at the right time. They'll ask for a few extra players to get in there. in the rolling ball setup. Dewey Lake, he's very close. Daniela Tupou trying to stop it. It's a penalty try to the Welsh. And I think this is going to be a yellow card now for Daniela Tupou. He tried to enter through the side and tried to slap that ball up, but Wales with the penalty try. That is a statement when playing with only 14 men on the field. And Force were new. I know it's actually going to be Fraser McWright who goes to the bin. Melbourne is rugby league territory. Union was always going to struggle there. It's a shame for the Rebels. They're the best year and they're out. Says Joe Webby. Or D-Mac getting slaughtered online. Says Justin. Yeah, like online's not a fun place at times. I'll be honest. That's why, like, outside of team lineups, I just don't go on social media for anything based off rugby or anything in general. Just because you can't go 5 comments without someone just hating for no apparent reason. Are you in Auckland or South Island? I am in South Island. But that is a big rolling maul. Unfortunately, like, McWright has been the player who's been penalised for it, but I think there were about 3 Australians who were also involved in the process of collapsing that one. And Dragons fires back. Unnecessary stuff. Back your talent and skill. Says Arthur. So many angry people online, says Justin. Yeah, there's a few. We've got quite lucky overall, I'd say, in our time on YouTube, although that's because a lot of the comments that you guys don't see, YouTube actually like kind of put them in a separate section, held for referral or held for review, I think it's called. Those are normally pretty brutal. Now kicking down to the 22. Wales getting the full 7 points available due to it being the penalty try. They did not have to take the conversion. Hamish will create an OnlyFans account if he hits 100k subs at year end. I don't know about that. To be fair, we got to 100k by the end of the year. That would be pretty impressive. That's going to be slapped back nicely for the Australians. Now Fluke. Both sides playing with 14 at the moment. YouTube's get their own TMO. Little bit. It just pretty much looks at the words that people use and then go, oh, you may not want that to be said. That's going to be an illegal clean out from Hunter Paisami in off his feet. Takes out Plumtree and Wales get themselves a penalty again. Do you play sport yourself? I do. I don't play rugby myself. I used to, but not now. But a couple other sports we do dabble in. If anyone is interested, Japan 15 are 18 and the Māori All Blacks are 7. Geez, they're going to need a big comeback here for the New Zealand Māori if they want a chance of winning that game. See whether or not we've got it at the moment. Yeah, they are $2.50 underdogs, whereas Japan XV going into that game were paying $9. I did see. Stuff, mate. Yeah, 100 good comments, but that comments just lingers. Got to not even check it, says Simon. And where do World Rugby get these French refs, says Enzo. Oh, hang on, we're looking upstairs for something. There's a clean out of a player who was on his knee. The TMO has ruled in and said that he wants to have a look at something. Okay, it sounds like they can't hear the ref at the moment. I like D-Mac, great player, but last 2 games he's been average under pressure. I'd say France, says Sandor. We have got there from Crumpus, no self-respect, no morals. That sounds like your Tinder bio. Now, 27 minutes in. They're just checking this. Okay, so Tame Plumtree hits him in the back of the head as he is falling down Noah Lalicio. I feel like that's nothing, really, for me. New Zealander commented why ABs are superior to the box. Then I commented about how exciting I was about the Curry Cup this year on a face. When I commented about how excited I was about the Curry Cup this year. Well, that's like earlier on, you know, England versus All Blacks, it was happening, and then someone said, oh, if England are staying close with New Zealand, imagine what the Springboks will do to New Zealand. But in the end, like, the score stays, like, the same score between England and South Africa was the score between the All Blacks and England, which is quite interesting. I feel like that will add to the excitement when the two sides do go head-to-head. They are soft, says Arthur. That one's kicked out on the full from the Welsh. And Wales players acting soft. I mean, it wasn't the player acting soft. The TMO came in and said that he wanted to look at it. The pretending to be injured in rugby is getting a little ridiculous now, milking penalties and cards. Mr. Bean is cool. Wonder if he was related to this ref. Could be sus. Now getting ready. Throw this one in again, Matt Faisler. Currently 4 minutes remaining of the yellow card for Wales. 7 minutes remaining for the Australians. Oh, the captains, are they getting called over here? This ref's hard to understand. I think he's saying you come straight at the line out. But he's got that really strong on the end that makes it quite tricky to know what is being said. But hopefully they got it. Jake Gordon all slipping and sliding out there on the park. Now, nice pass out wide to Lukan Salakai. A lot of their 25 metres out from the line. At the moment was your ex-A South African. Says Zandor. No, she wasn't. It's almost a game of League 13-13. And, bro, imagine if they picked James O'Connor for backup and the top teams are even Stevens. Yeah, even a comment like that gets you in trouble nowadays. You can't say anything without someone getting offended by it. But now, nice run forward from Mason Grady. They did go with Nick Tompkins coming off the bench rather than in the starting lineup. And French ref needs a translator on the field. But fans are arrogant at the moment, love it. But need to be humble to win the next World Cup, says bystander. Oh, we need to get you a South African bookie, says Justin on the halfway line. Nicely claimed by the Welsh. Now Liam Williams puts another... What was that from Filippo Dalguna? He's just tried a no-arms tackle and missed Liam Williams. How do you even do that? He put his head down and he charged in like this. Look at this. Where is it? Oh, we're not going to get to see it, unfortunately. But yeah, Filippo Dalguna had no chance of hitting Liam Williams by the looks of that. Kick downfield, and it's gone into Dutch. Another good kick from the Australians, clearing their lines. Refs are so all over the place. How hard can it be to train them all the same? Bok is a fun South African name for a girlfriend, says Albert. What do you have against South African women? Nothing at all. We've got a few South African women who watch the channel. Fun fact. Believe it or not, we have female viewers. Now Dewey Lake to throw it and almost contested again for Liam Wright. There's a handful at line-out time. Got a lot of steals throughout. Super Rugby Pacific on the halfway line now, though. Looks like Bevan's calling some men over. Oh, that ball's dropped. And that's going to be picked up by the Australians. Khan Salakai Lotto has to play halfback, goes back across to Hunter by Sami. He's going to go for the chip in behind, sees a bit of open space, but that's a terrible kick, really. Liam Williams now. Oh, is that a 50-22? I think that might be. Is it a 50-22? The referees are unsure, so Australia keep the ball alive, and now it sounds like it's going to be a Welsh line-out. 4 World Cups, 50% win rate, the true spiritual guardians of rugby. We are allowed to be arrogant, says Sandor. And like I said many times, you know, I've said they are the defending champs. So, like, I saw going into that Irish series, people were saying, you know, like, South Africa, it's weird. Anything that I say here about what people have said, people then think that I've said it, and then that gets me in trouble. Looks like Gareth Thomas now making his way back onto the field. I thought the same. Hope she is okay. Huge fan during the Rugby World Cup. We're all rugby supporters first. We're New Zealand versus South Africa at table tennis. Remember the scores. Says Arthur there. Now ready to throw this one in for Dewey Lake. Nicely taken. Oh, that's a knock on again. I've turned my stream off. This is so much calmer. Just listening to you and listening to the people get excited about other games besides this one. Yeah, this game's probably been the one that's been mentioned the least. And this one you can't win, just ignore them, says Bob Jones. Yeah, that's the best way of doing it, isn't it? Hamish, please, is bordering on hate speech now, mate. I didn't even say anything, did I? This is the Aussie team that should have went to the World Cup 2023. Says Ruthless. Eddie Jones opting to go against what a lot of people thought would have been the best Australian side. Already 31 minutes in, and another scrum feed, Australia, I believe. Are they back to 15? No, Filippo Dalguna is packing down on the side. They took away the yellow card animation, so I was looking around trying to find if not Tate McDermott, but Fraser McWright had actually made his way onto the field. And 4 World Cups, 4 Super Rugby titles, and 4 Tri and Rugby Championship, 4 is a South African number. And the national Welsh dish is call. Gordon now puts the ball in. One's gone down. So the reason that they've got Dalgunu on the side of the scrum here is because they are just on their own 22. They can't really afford to lose the scrum at this stage of the contest. What's for lunch? Talking food seems to break the ice, says Arthur. I'm not actually sure what's for lunch, to be honest. It's currently 10:36 p.m. I think my next meal will probably be at like 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Maybe. I might get like a snack in between if I'm lucky, but we got plenty to get done throughout the evening. The Welsh national dish is cold stewed lamb and seasonal vegetables. We have got there, that would be upsetting. She was accepted within this channel, says bystander. It's a big push there, and that is another penalty going the way of the Australians. Now, I will mention there was a chance that Chloe was actually a bloke. Just saying, because there was, like, I looked at some of the comments from someone, right? I had to do a bit of my own research. I went on some of the comments from a certain person, looked at the comments from Chloe, and they both used the exact same emojis. They both used the same kind of sentence structure. So I'm pretty sure it was one of the guy viewers on his second account, because he also kept talking about her as if, like, why aren't you reading her messages? And then he accidentally sent one as himself, I'm pretty sure, that was supposed to be Chloe. So I'm a bit, a little bit skeptical. Damn, we got baited by a dude. It's just, that's the internet, isn't it? There's also a chance that was just a massive coincidence, but I think it might have been a bloke. Now Matt Faisler, ready to throw this ball in. Nicely taken again by Liam Wright. Jake Gordon goes to Valentini. And not me, promise, says bystander. So you figured some loser was moonlighting against Chloe, kind of creepy, says Annoy? Possibly. Allegedly. I don't, just in case she is actually an actual person, that would be unfortunate, because everyone would be like, why is that? Like, yeah, that's the theory, but it might be wrong. That's going to be the penalty, though, going the way of Wales for taking a player out in the air. Hamish got catfish, love it. Although I was pretty skeptical from the start, because this is the internet. We've had Ian Foster in the chat before. At least you have a stalker. Is that a good thing? Dude looks like a lady, says Seller. Now Thomas going to be kicking this one into touch again. Good kick downfield, but that's a fair call from the ref. Taking the man out in the air, Josh Hathaway. I am Spartacus. I'm the reason why Hamish stopped drinking, says Xandor. Go Australia, says Arthur. Thrown into the front to Christ Chinza. Thomas goes to Aaron Wainwright. Him and Ballatini have seemed like they are just locking on to each other and just running it straight any chance that they get. And Fozzie says, annoying go Oz. And talking to girlfriends, where's Ruth? She will be probably here for the later live stream, I would think, in terms of that South Africa Island game. Whose girlfriend she? Is she Kerr's girlfriend? Oh, nice cross kick. Oh, that was almost Rio Dyer putting that ball out. Yes, it is. So it's going to be now 40 metres out. Australia have got themselves another line out here. Like I said, specifically targeting that kick out wide to try and put this Welsh side under pressure in the wide channels. 4 minutes left now, though. And Matt Faisler does throw that one in. Nicely done again. We're about 40 metres out, Roof, sipping cocktails. Get ready for the big test. Not the mouth, can only hear Hamish's voice. Not the mouth, can only hear Hamish's voice. So you can't see my mouth? Or you can? I'm very confused, Nate. But welcome in. Again, hope you are doing well. Taniela Tupou rushed defence on the Tongan Thor by Dewey Lake. The halfway line. Noel Alicio going to be booting this one up high. Again, well taken under the high ball for Thomas. At least there's no chance of rain in Pretoria today. Says Justin, yeah, it should be a nice dry game with a bit of luck. Now rolling it back again. We'll be putting it up high. There we go. We will go like that. We will go like that. There we go. Oh, a little bit of a handling error there from Tom Wright. Wanted to go back infield, but it was actually well covered by Rio Dyer, which made him have to cut towards the touchline instead. Bag shot coming in on Jeremy Williams. I've had like 6 dates tonight, says Novmum. Sorry, how much meant for Crumpus? I see. Sorry, I was very confused, as you could tell. Dry and sunny in Pretoria. It was cold this morning, says Albert. But Australia, another penalty going their way here. Nice, says Sandor. Right, what is the plan here for the Australians? It does look like, once again, they are opting for the corner. This is a good tactic at the moment, and at least it's slightly paying off for the Aussies as long as they do get themselves the try here. Yeah, under the high ball, just not quite safe enough for, I think that was Owen Watkin. Put that one down. 6 dates is a lot. Tell those that whinge your comments to go and play in traffic, Hamish, says Bert. And what if Eddie did what he did on purpose to help turn Australia Rugby around? I mean, that's probably going to be what he says it was. In the long run, he's going to say, "Oh, I wanted to stick it to the man so that they could then, turn it around." But no, I think he just thought that he was going to be able to fix it in a short period of time. Thought he was a mastermind, and then it just didn't work that way, so he left. Now, Hunter by Sami. 10 metres out from the line. Here comes Daniela Tupou, the lone try scorer for the Australians at this stage of the match. Gordon back across to James Slipper. Is Hunter by Sami playing him and heard his name called? He is all big run there, but there's a bit of obstruction there. In fact, a forward pass, I think it was. And Wales still $4.75 to win, not bad, says Annoy. And that'll help quite a bit as well, the fact that the Australians just juggling that ball. Lukan Salakaialoto. Australia took the risk. They don't get the rewards this time. But that does not mean that they won't get the rewards at some point. Yes, the secret is out. Don't tell my husband, says Novmum. It's like just adjusting his boot here, Jeremy Williams. Hamish has his eye off Saron. On the Aussies, giving Box a break on ya, says Sandor. 35 seconds remaining in this first half. Joe Schmidt, his first half in charge. The side might go into the break with a little bit of a lead. And I'm nice, says bystander. Warren Gatlin. Looking a bit nervous at the moment. They won't be too mad about this first half. It's similar to what we saw in terms of the score between South Africa and Wales for that first 40 minutes, but the big difference is going to be how can they play in the second half. That is where they really struggled in the game up against the Box. We are not too far away from the start of the contest, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we will go like that. We will go like that as well. There we go. Now Bevan put the ball in. Big push from Australia again at scrum time, but Wainwright managed to break off the back. Gordon has been sent flying by one of the cleanouts from Tommy Reffel. 10 minutes or so left in the Japan XV versus Māori game. Is it still the same score at the moment, Richard? Novmum 11, that scissors life. Now back into the pocket, and Australia will not get those last points that they were after, as Wales have been able to kick that ball into touch. Half-time, 13 points to 10 between these two sides. So at half-time in New Zealand versus England, it was actually 10-10. In this one, it is 10-13. And Japan are 21 and Māori are sitting 14, says Richard Horry And that there as well. Well, what we might as well do is we might as well watch the last 10 minutes of that one while we were at it. See how it is going. New Zealand actually have a yellow card in that Māori All Blacks game, I do see. By the looks of it, after this game, I'm going for a 5k run on the beach to warm up for the box game, says Brian. Nice. 5Ks is quite far, isn't it? In terms of running. Like, I would walk 5Ks hesitantly, but, like, yeah, running them is very impressive. I should mention anyone who is new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are only 38 away from 48,500 on the channel. For 50,000, I've got a special video slightly planned, depending on when we hit the milestone. If we don't hit it until a little bit later on, we'll probably have to save that video for around November. Yo, what's up, my bags? Says a distracted sports. Welcome in, Tony. Did you do the live stream with Mark in the end, Tony, or were you watching the game separately from 2 cents? Do let me know. What'd you think of the game? A bit close, wasn't it? Australia being disappointing. I hope they turn up the heat. Get the W for the Southern Hemisphere, says Justin. And pasties are great. Steak slices are better, though. Speaking of Springbok hate, Tony is here, says Sandor. Average game says, it hasn't been the best, but at the same time, the fact that it's still close, I think, gives us a bit of hope that it could become a great game in those final moments of the contest. Yeah, they're going to kick for the corner there, the Japan XV, by the looks of it. And Stretch Sports buy me a beer, says Justin. And Southern North's keeping the scoreboard close so far. Watch separately. I can come in hot for a chat, says Tony. Is that dangerous, Tony? At the halftime break, do you think? Do you want to come on for a post-match chat for this one, perhaps? Just because I have to open my emails and whatnot. And you might not get much time. I don't want to kick you out. Normally I kick you out, don't I? I always end up going, oh, this is Tony. Say something, Tony, and then you talk. And then I'm like, oh, halftime's over. Bye, Tony. Super dangerous. Okay, maybe I shouldn't then. Maybe you are convincing me otherwise. Tim, of course, brother. We actually have those fellows up here. And they are being killed off slowly by red kites. But Japan XV have just scored themselves a try up against the Māori All Blacks. They are going to win that match, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, it's a shame that it's only a 2-match series. I just undid my button on one side and I wasn't sure what button it actually was because there's 2 next to each other. Been on the Bears, says Novmum. This is a great performance from the Japan XV. Japan got another try. They certainly did. Rolling forward nicely. And in the end, managing to get themselves a try. And it's quite interesting, isn't it? Because a lot of the guys who are out there on the field for the Māori All Blacks are guys that we thought were right on the verge of getting through and, you know, making the ABs. But now they're struggling. Such a different quality of game compared to the ABs England. Still not too bad at all, says Opal. Deep on the beers and wine. Okay, so we should probably let you chillax for a bit, Tony. You know, YouTube Algie loves the works sadly. Bokbo 13. What's the best beer in New Zealand? Ask Tony. He's had them all today, by the sounds of it. Just finished my dates. Cost me $9. Cheap dates. Says Novmum there. 2.5 minutes left in that Japan XV versus Māori All Blacks game. I'm struggling to get this button done back up. It's quite a tricky one. Not bad for Joe Schmidt. Looks solid. And I'd have loved a beer with this game, but not this early, says Mr. Fantastic AJ. And of course, we are only around 4 hours away from that Springboks versus Ireland game when it is taking place. We are going to be doing an hour of build-up for that contest, ladies and gentlemen, where we will be talking all things Ireland squad, South Africa squad, previous meetings, all the fun stuff. Get your mum to help you, Hamish, lol. Never too early for a beer on the weekend, says Justin. And Māori All Blacks are terrible, says Reflecting Trees. Yeah, they've struggled in their game. I got it. Doesn't look as good as it did before, but I got it. Say something nice about the box, says Sandor. Is that for me or in general? I mean, I said that they were going to beat Ireland in that match. Why do some long sleeve shirts have 2 buttons? I think it's just in case you want to tighten the cuffs a little bit more. I think is the reasoning behind it. Bring me in for some quick hot takes. I don't know if that's a good idea, Tony. If you've had alcohol in 2 forms, you might be in a swearing mood, I would say. We'll try it after the game, and hopefully we won't get demonetized. But we'll see. If you are still awake, that is. Just goes to show our rugby is not as good as we think it is. New Zealand Māori going to lose to the Japan XV, says Joe Webby there as well. And Japan XV just dominated the scrum once again. They are fired up big time. Tony, what did you think of DMAC? Says Justin, love your work, bro, says Craig. And there as well. And Māori All Blacks are hopeless, says Daniel. Yeah, it will be interesting to see. Well, that's the thing. Like, Japan, they still have an international game. This Japan XV side, I wonder how many of those guys will find themselves in the Japan team in the future. I should mention about the benches, ladies and gentlemen. There are quite a few handy players for the Australians. A lot of debuts. The likes of a Tom Lynard, Dylan Peach, Charlie Cale. Whoever loses this match will be ranked 11th in the world, which would be a record low for either country, says a reviewer there, I should say. But yeah, it's not exactly something that they want, is it? To be the lowest rank that either side has, and a lot of damage has been done before this point for their sides. If that, I'm hot and ready. Are we still talking about having a chat, Tony? Or are we talking about something else? Will you do a farewell stream with 2 cents? Says Matthew Lang. Well, I'll ask Tony. Tony will know better. Tony, Matthew has been telling me that Mark is going to stop doing YouTube after July. Have you heard any rumours, seeing as you literally go to his house? He does ask you to, of course. Anyone seen the hot mess that is Rugby 25? We have, yeah. We ended up playing it when it first came out, and it is broken, unfortunately. There is a lot that they need to do to fix that game, but I'm hoping that we'll see some improvements. They're talking to Charlotte Caslick at the moment, of course, going to be heading to the Olympics in late July. What's your favourite? My Little Pony or Care Bears? What's your brave prediction for Ireland versus South Africa? In the end, I think my South Africa versus Ireland prediction was 22-15 in favour of South Africa. So that's a bold one. And Scott Robertson must get used to Test Rugby. Test Rugby will always tough. If England is tough, the Springboks will be tougher. Yeah, although the All Blacks beat England by the same margin as South Africa beat England when they last played. Are we talking about Mark Goldbridge? Bloody hell, Amish. Are you bros with him? Pratt says, gee, no. Mark, 2 cents rugby. Mark Goldbridge, he's doing well for the Euros, isn't he? That's BS, says Tony there. I thought it was, to be fair. But I just thought I'd ask. That must have hurt for you to say. Nah, not at all. I'll be honest, when I had a dream last night, I woke up after seeing the Springboks win that game 33-12 in my dream, and I was like, I just don't see how they can lose that game. Gotcha, says Mark. Oh, sorry, you're not Mark, you're G. And final score 26-14, says Richard there as well. RIP 2 cents, good innings. Okay, well, clearly you guys didn't watch the stream 1 hour ago. He literally announced it, says Matthew Lang. Yeah, but I want to believe you. Like, don't get me wrong, I want to, but at the same, do you have a timestamp, Matthew, that we could look at? We're at half time, so if there was ever a time to look at it, it would be now. It's Freddie Ware in Sydney, but I'm listening to your commentary instead. Thanks, mate. Hamish, Mark, and Tony should replace JK and Goldie on the breakdown. If I put the money on the box, they will lose, says Sandor. And as give me 2 seconds, I'll get it, says Matthew Lang. Is it YouTube streaming, though, or YouTube, video making for it? How do Australia fare so far in your opinion? I mean, they're up by 3 points. They've had a lot of kicking meters, 472 compared to Wales, who have only had 237 in that first half. Wales have missed 8 tackles, but they made 85. Australia only making 30 tackles, missing 3. Oh, we're getting the excitement package. Yeah, the Rugby Championship is not too far away from starting, ladies and gentlemen. August 10th. What a weird rumour, says Mark. Go to his All Black stream, skip to 27:33 in. If he doesn't say this, I'm going to be utterly disappointed in you, Matthew. 2 cents. I can't spell. I'm under pressure. There we go. That's a bit of a jam, whatever that song was that just popped on. Great coverage, mate. I personally think Clark's offers more instead of Talia. Thoughts? I would agree. I feel like he is definitely a great option for that number 11 jersey. I'm not sure whether or not that rib injury might have actually been the problem, though, for Caleb Clark, the one that he did get in the final. I'm going to go here. What time do I have to go to? 27:33. It's not going to be a Rick roll, is it? He's saying no words at the moment at this timestamp you gave me. He's just writing down. He's writing down stats. I'm looking forward to Tom Liner and Tate and McDermott coming on. Says Samuel. Do you fix the date? What date? Which one are we talking? I'll give him a call, says Distracted Sports. And there as well. So I bet you're looking forward to the Springboks versus Ireland match, the two best teams in the world. Says Morne Lagrange. It's going to be a great one. There is a stat that when I mentioned about it, people got angry at me again. But if Ireland win that game by 16 points, they go to number 1 in the world. And the laughing faces from Matthew, guys are too easy. Yeah, but what was the point? No one laughed except for you. 2 cents leaving YouTube is like saying you have 10 kids. Says Flesham. And Geordie's long kick out of pressure were amazing. I like Izzy Dag. And I watch Wildcast post-match review of All Blacks game. He said, so that was weird, Wi-Fi cut out. He said someone purposely stopped the official clock when Barrett was lining up the kick. Ref went according to his watch to say time up, says Brian. And I'm still laughing, says Matthew. And still live, please, says Kalinatesi. We are still live. Notification date for this game was 7th of June. Was it? I mean, we just went live at the normal time. Random face freeze. Ben Whitehouse is the Timo for South Africa versus Ireland. Do you know his style? I know that it's Luke Pearce as the main referee, and Ireland plus 16 to take number 1 spot. Interesting, says Bystander. But yeah, there's like a decent chance that South Africa, of course, keep that number 1 spot. But if there was that little tiny bit, getting 2 cents some rugby views, says Hensel. Can you send a link? Says a Bystander. And there as well. But like, it would make no sense for him to stop, I think was the obvious situation, because he's doing very well at the moment. It's like getting a promotion at work and then being like, okay, I quit now. See you later. I got the promotion that I was after. Now we just leave. They won't. Says Drink on the Moon. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, that Ireland versus South Africa contest. The second half. Only 3 points difference between these two sides at the moment. Let's get this party started. Cheese and coffee before going to bed after 48 hours. At 9:30 p.m, says JYD. I mean, as soon as I went live, it would have changed it. So we're all good in that regard. No chance, Hamish, that the Springboks will lose by 16 points. The Springboks will probably win by 16 points. See, that's what I'm saying. I didn't say that they would lose by that point margin. I was just saying that that is the way that the world rankings work. That if they lost by 16, that is the cutoff. If they won by 15, Ireland, that wouldn't get them to world number 1. But if they won by 16, then it would. It wasn't me saying that's my score prediction. Anyone who's watched that manager, or sorry, not the manager, but the preview that I did earlier on, you will know that that was not my prediction. It's just a stat. Okay, so I got promoted to manager. So let's quite, says Hensel, but the two sides now back out onto the field, coming the Wallabies. And the other, if they lost, wouldn't you? Says Sandor. The Box will win, says Hensel. That's what I predicted. Irish was just simply stating, says Bystander. And there as well. Second half. We're almost here, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, this one is Hamish, the head of Kiwi Lads. I guess so. Like, maybe. I guess I could call myself like a CEO or a boss. I'm not really the boss, though. I feel like I'm no one's boss. Because I'm like to the other guys, you want to do a stream? And they're like, nah, busy. So I'm like, why does it need to be 16 Hamish points scored against count in the rankings, not just the win? Yep. So if you beat a side by a certain margin, you do get the boost, and that is by more than 15. So, yeah, if they won by 16, that would give them the boost that they need to then get that little bit of an extra pop-up. Because if they just won by anywhere between 1 and 15, they wouldn't be world number 1. But if they won by 16, that would actually be just enough to put them up there. Guys, as much as I love Ireland, they ain't winning today. Squad faded away in April. Oh, beautiful pick up there from Christchenza. To the way to Dewey Lake. That's a great attacking chance here early on. Taniela Tupou already off the field. That is for Aran Araratoa, passed out wide. Liam Williams. Here's the man on the inside, man on the outside. Little grubber in behind. Beautifully kicked, and that is going to be kicked backwards by Australia, which is now going to be a 5-metre scrum for the Welsh. What a fantastic start to the second half. Kiwi lads has turned into the Kiwi lad. Says Joe Webby. I'm always happy Wales are bad. It's been the best team in the world causes you so much stress, says Fleshin. And Hamish digging a hole. And also great to be listening to you again, Hamish. Great commentary on the English All Blacks game, says Silver Fox. Thank you very much. Are you bloody trying to win a 17-point win for the Irish? How dare you? By the way, Hamish, what is your prediction for the Springboks Ireland match? So you haven't even watched my preview. I predicted the Springboks to win 22 points to 15 in that contest. Looking forward to hearing JK speaking of the beautiful AB's rugby of today, says Hensel. I don't know if there's much that they can say about it, though. Like, it was decent at times, but there was a lot that wasn't working for the All Blacks. They have to work out how to get around that English rush defence, or else they'll just continue to lose metres all throughout the games. Another game with South Africans talking about their game while we're watching another, says Heaney. Of course, the Rugby Championship, like I mentioned, the 10th of August is when that one will be starting. Australia taking on the South Africans, and then also New Zealand versus Argentina. They are both taking place on the first weekend. And then after that, the same again, it would seem. New Zealand, Argentina, and Australia, South Africa. South Africa have got home games against New Zealand in this Rugby Championship comp, as well as, where are they? They've got home games against Argentina. Argentina get the rough end of the stick, don't they? The only home games they get is up against Australia. They keep on having to play New Zealand and South Africa away. Why is it satisfying seeing the yellow and red on the field, says Simran. Why is it satisfying seeing the yellow and the red? Like the colours of the kits? Yeah, it's quite nice. I like a Welsh kit. I thought you were talking about the in-goal area where they got that green and yellow stripe there. Okay, another scrum reset this time. Wales still in possession and will not compete at the ruck next week. Take the ref off the game. Then New Zealand are stuffed. And JK likes the smell of his own farts a little too much. Of course, referring to John Kerwin. And come on, Wales, rooting for you from South Africa, says Nicholas. Another scrum now. We are 4 hours away from South Africa versus Ireland. Ladies and gentlemen, the fits. The kits, it might be, in that one. One's gone down front row again. 2 resets in a row. Relief is a word for the All Blacks and supporters. And also, I think Wales, like your fit is very satisfying, says Simran there. Thank you. It might not look as satisfying by the end of the night, to be honest. I feel like by then the tie would have gone a bit crooked. A little break between tests for you, Hamish, says Geza. Yeah, I get like a week, I think, where we don't have too much international rugby. But depending on how close we are to 50,000 subscribers will depend on what that week entails. Will you wear the same suit for the Rugby Championship? Probably not. We might have a different one. Who knows? We own more than one shirt, believe it or not. So we might have to mix it up. But Bevan now. This is a 3-minute scrum reset here almost. Wainwright goes short side. Hatha, what is he doing? He's just running into touch. This isn't the NFL. He's been taking tips from Lewis Rees-Zammit. He's just run that one straight into touch. Wainwright, he went up to him. He's just run it out. Did he forget where the side of the field was? Did you post the poll? I think so. And this one nicely taken by Tom Wright. Now across to Rob Valentini. And a little break between tests. Oh no, I read that one. That's not the real New Zealand team, says Jeremy. And Sonny Bill Williams need to fight some little idiot influencer in a boxing match. How many suits do you have, Hamish? I have a little bit. Not really that many. I think like 2. He saw some sheep, says Xander. He's training for the NFL call-up. Aussie's players look very bogan, not going to lie, says Simran. It's the mullets. The mullets are very, very in Australia, and I don't think they'll ever go out of fashion, not for the next little while anyway. I think they should bring back the mohawk, shave everything except for the middle and just have it sticking up straight. I might have to do that for myself, maybe. Now, Thomas, going to Wainwright, behind Bevan, again to Dewey Lake. A lot more possession going the way of the Welsh in the second half, although that is great work. Or no, Liam Wright actually going to end up with a penalty against him. A little grubber from Liam Williams. That ball's loose. That's accidental offside on Rio Dyer. Just heading to 2 Cents Rugby, definitely not quitting YouTube, BS rumour, says Mark. Yeah, it did seem like it was one that was just made up for the sake of it. Like I said, it's like getting a promotion and then saying, nah, now I quit. I poke someone in the eyes with a mohawk, says Blues Nate. Damn 11th. Joe Schmidt is already making the Wallabies look better. Like I just said there, it could have bounced off in any direction, but it does go dead. A lot of penalties at the moment against the Australians, and it's starting to cost them as Wales are looking to once again go to the posts. Add some more points onto the board. That's good to hear, says Geza. It certainly is. 2 Cents gets distracted with the Kiwi lads coming soon. Probably 2026 or somewhere around there. But we'll get there in the end. I just got to get up to the North Island, don't I? That's crazy. We never know if stage rigged now days for views. Says Bystander. Warren Gatling getting some nice H2O down him. Thomas lining up this kick again. As long as there's motor racing, you always get mullet, says Drink on the Moon, and that one has gone over. 13-13 in this match. Away go for 3, keep the pressure on them and game inside up, says Reflecting Trees. Definitely when you've already had a penalty try as well, we've got to remember for the Welsh. So I don't think it would take too much for them to end up actually ramping that up. Another yellow card or another penalty try. I don't know the English, and the Welsh player probably have screwed loose for running into touch. Says Monty Lagrange. There'll be a dream broadcast team. If we could add Squid Rugby to it, it would be complete, says Geza in there as well. Yeah, I think the only time that we have done something with Mark and Tony at the same time, I think would actually be when we were reacting to memes made about us. That was a little while ago. Put me in a timeout, says Matthew Lang. It wasn't myself, as I don't even have that open, but someone obviously didn't like your joke. Don't run it straight, cuz. A bogan, an Australian redneck, says, oh yeah, some people don't know what a bogan is, do they? What's the best way of describing a bogan? Well, how do you say it without people getting offended as well? That's the hard part. But when you see a bogan, you know a bogan, That's the best way of describing it. Score on the telly says 13-20. What the? Says, well, that depends whether or not Australia score themselves a try. Now out wide to Andrew Callaway. Now Gordon. Going back across to Jeremy Williams. I shared a video with them for State of Origin. Says Geza. Jeez, what do we do for that? Was that the stream that we did the reaction to things, or was that a different one? 2 Cents gets distracted by Kiwi Lads podcast, says Grant. Now, nice stepping from Jake Gordon. Wales don't get the ball. Now, Valentini again will go around the side. Push himself a little bit closer to the try line. They stuffed up the score. It's fixed now 13-13. I'm a huge supporter of the channel. Not happy to be put in a timeout for no reason, says Matthew Lang. Yes, it was a reaction video, says Geza in there as well. Now, Alatoa around the side of the breakdown again. 5 metres from the try line here for the Australians. Little pop pass up. Ball is there with Fraser McWright. He had 10 minutes off the field, so he should be fresh. And that wasn't just the halftime break either. It was his yellow card, and he's wrestled backwards again. Gordon goes across to Hunter Paisami. Good defence so far from the Welsh, but they have to make sure that they stay disciplined. Alatoa again, 5 metres out from the try line. Gordon, quick hands, Faisler decides he wants to have a crack. All Blacks are looking bogan, says Jeremy. Tom Wright out wide. 4 metres now. It is phase after phase for the Wallabies. Rush defence. That's a tackle without the ball from Tommy Reffel on Rob Ballatini. Go the Wallabies. And what does it say? 13-20. That is a penalty now to the Welsh. Hit the like button, support the Bogans and Hamish plus team. Says bystander, 10 years since Australia won a test here. Wow, says Jimbo. Aussie rolling up their sleeves, says Sella, and go the Wallabies, says Will. Wildcarded has uncovered a conspiracy at the AB's England game. Someone stopped the clock at the stadium to help out the All Blacks. Interesting. Says Mark. Someone stopped the clock at the stadium. But doesn't the ref have a watch? Don't the ref normally base it off the time that they've got on their hand rather than the stadium clock? Normally the stadium clock's just for the viewers in the stadium. 30 minutes still remaining, and it's going to be a line out here, 40 metres out from their own line here for the Welsh. So Plumtree actually getting a huge amount of strapping on that ankle. And another close one, says Hanks. Yeah, it does look that way. What the hell is that name? Says Krampus. Right. Kylea will make his way on. That is for James Slipper. Bogans in some respect are more real than the everyday social media junkie. And clock was stopped during the penalty. Didn't matter as the ref had his own time, says Dwayne. Looks like a decent crowd. Okay, one of the Australian commentators is complaining that Wales did a little bit of time wasting there because of an injury, which is something that we've already seen Australia do in this match. So I don't think he can complain about one and not complain about the other. Are you streaming the next game, Hamish? We certainly are. We're doing South Africa versus Ireland, followed by the matchup that has taken place between Argentina and France. When you come into South Africa, Hamish, it's going to be a while. The bank account doesn't look flash at the moment, I'll be honest. Like 2026-ish, maybe, if I'm very lucky. But, yeah, the StreamYard subscription fee is just about to come around. And that one's going to cost me a lot out of my own pocket. But, yeah, we'll see. Anyone who doesn't know, StreamYard is the streaming software, by the way, that we are currently using. Bogans are the reason we have health warnings, no bleach bottles. And what's in the name? Does not a rose hurt as much when you thrash on an Australian with it? Why doesn't bank account look flash? Is work not going okay, says Matthew Lang? It's going all right. It's just I'm putting a lot of my money into the channel, so I don't have a lot left afterwards. Now, Liam Wright on the 22 now. Nice attacking run again from Jeremy Williams. Gordon goes back across. Oh, he's going to milk the penalty as well there, Jake Gordon. Got themselves another penalty advantage, and this would be a 3-pointer if they want it, although I believe they want the full 7, not Alessio. In fact, it's going to be Hunter Paisami. 22 metres out, Gordon goes back to Faisler, not Alessio. Rush defence on him, Dalgunu's got space and plenty of pace as well, but he's going to be dragged down just short, or does he? No, it's going to keep on sliding for him. Are you covering the South Africa vs Ireland game in 4 hours? We certainly are. We're actually doing an hour of build-up for that contest as well. We will be looking through at all the stats to do with those two sides, their head-to-head fixtures recently, the squads, everything along those lines. So we will be starting in only 2 hours, 45 minutes time. But Filippo Dalgunu gets the try there. Yeah, he's a long way off his wing. He's actually playing more like the outside centre there, where he was on the field. Aussie Man is a great video. Australian Bogans having a fight in a bar in Tasmania. And that's bad, says Fleshin. Yeah, he's slid 5 metres. Just shows how slippery it is out there, but he's been tackled and then he's just slid the whole way to the try line. Didn't propel himself forward, just let his momentum take him. And that's an awesome individual score, says Jimbo. Yeah, great attacking run from Filippo Dungunu. Joe Schmidt, says Blues Nate there as well. But 1 try scored tonight for Filippo Dungunu. The commentators all saying that it was like a slip and slide. 3 from 4 at the moment for Noah Lolesio. Well, this game is close. Says, cool story, bro. And there as well. And Bogans are adverse to success, so not surprising. Says Sandor, that kick is missed from Noah Lolesio, so it keeps the score at 18 points to 13 at the moment between the two sides. That's great hands from Filippo Dungunu and just backs his pace. I mean, Mason Grady, to be fair to him, made a good tackle, and unfortunately, just momentum took him all the way over. Go the mighty Māori All Blacks tonight. They lost, by 14 points, I think it was, in the end to the Japan XV. Now, another run from Filippo Dungunu. You can spot him from a mile away with those bright yellow boots that he is wearing, although there are a few other players got the same sponsorship. 22 metres out from their line at the moment here. Jake Gordon out to go for the kick him high. And damn, where was the hour of build-up for this epic? Well, we were currently, during that hour, we were covering All Blacks versus England. So we didn't actually have an hour that we would have been able to cover. We did about 30 minutes build-up, though, for this one. Want to buy a Russian bride, Amish? Free delivery? No, I'm all right, thank you. Should be right. Well, thanks, Amish. And also, Māori lost to Japan. Useless, says Hinks. Now, Thomas across there. Nice flat ball from Owen Watkin, who was asking for a penalty for a late shot as he was being tackled when he had the ball. Now, Liam Williams. Looks close for Hunter Paisami if the ball was still there, which it was not. Thomas now going to go for a boot in behind again here. Just seems at the moment that Wales are keen to try and play this one from inside of Australia's 22, but the clearances from inside of their 22 haven't been too bad so far. Now Thomas, 40 metres out, going short side. Bevan goes to Wainwright. He is through. He had the man on the inside and the outside, but unfortunately he slipped over, and Nolasio manages to turn it over. And also we have Gadea Bogan, just means working class in Australia, people who actually know how to have fun and enjoy themselves, unlike these middle class KO podcast clowns in Sydney. Podcast clowns in Sydney. Who's in Sydney? What is KO? Now that's going to be the penalty. I was thinking kickoff, but that's probably not the thing. Oh, that is sad, but hey, they lost to the South. And what a tap, says Jimbo in there. But player leaving feet that has gone against Jeremy Williams. That is a great steal, though, from Nola Lucio. And Williams just losing his footing, lost to Japan. Really? They certainly did. Yep. They beat them in the first match, but then in Japan XV winning the second. Right, again, Wales kicked for the corner. You have to wonder whether or not at some stage this tactic's either going to help them or it's going to hurt them a little bit. Now, both them onto the field. Number 20, Charlie Cale, makes his way on. Debut test match for him. He's had a great season for the Brumbies. What's happening to McKenzie? Couldn't take penalty. What the rule was, I can't understand why he didn't take the penalty. So you have to take it within 60 seconds. Oh, that's a great rolling maul for Wales. And that is the try now for the Welsh. They're back in the game, 18-18. Kick-off and kick-ons. Oh, Liam Williams just took a flying headbutt. He might have got. Right, so both of them scored that. Liam Williams might have been a bit rocked there in the celebration. We might have to keep an eye on him. Imagine having to go off for an HIA because your own teammate gave you a flying headbutt. And Ashley Cooper and Drew Mitchell, upper class Muppets, are much better to hang out with supposed bogans. Says Power Bite. We're going to get the slow motion replay of the celebration. Oh, they're going to check it. A flying headbutt, says Blues Nate. Yeah, they were celebrating it. Okay, the TMO wants to check this. Who's the TMO? It is Marius Jonker of South Africa. And try for this game. I want to check whether or not there was a player in front. And Bogans have fun. Did my motorcycle license today at Sandown. The monthly car meetup. I was there on track, loving life. There goes that pet dolphin forehead, Hamish. That pet dolphin forehead. What made you convert? Says, cool story, bro. Yeah, is it illegal? Potential obstruction. Right, so that's okay. I believe. Is that a no try? What rule's that? Like, I get it. Right, Dewey Lake. We're watching him. Where does he go? Oh, okay. So he joined in front of where the ball was in the rolling maul. So you're not allowed to do that, unfortunately. So that's going to be a no try for the Welsh. Asbro, the Scottish centre, got taken out by his Scotland teammates during a celebration a few years ago. 2 cents gets distracted thoughts. Are you a viewer? Says Matthew Lang. I haven't watched a lot of YouTube recently, which does slightly suck, but I have watched a few episodes. Tony was in the chat before. You kind of annoyed him because he had to ring Mark to make sure that he wasn't retiring. However, there, Locke took out the defence ahead of the ball. Says Jimbo there. We only lost to Japan for the good of the game. Says Sandor. Yeah, we're going to see it here again. Dewey Lake. Oh, if that is what it's for, he was only just, didn't someone say on your contents, their Dolphin said, oh, yes, sorry, yep, I've worked out what it is now. Yeah, that was an interesting comment. That was on the All Blacks adjusted XV, wasn't it? You lost to Scotland too. Now Charlie Cale out wide, wanted to take contact there, and that's really harsh. Says, please avoid YouTube, Hamish. Says, Paul Beer, stay true. Says, bystander. Some good videos on YouTube, though, isn't there? Yeah, weird, though. Says, Blue State. Now it's going to be kicked high, and that's knocked on from Hathaway. Kai Leah finds the offload to McWright. The captain is off for Australia finally. Charlie Cale. 40 metres out from the try line now. Oh, Christ Chinza tried to go through the middle, plays the scrum half, and he's going to get penalised for it. He's not happy about it. Alan Alatol was trying to get right in his face. Hi, how are you doing today? Says Yako. Doing very well, Yako. Hopefully you are also keeping well. Now, Nolodesio. Sounds like he is once again going to be going for that kick towards the corner. And this is a perfect opportunity for Australia to really increase their lead. Because if they can get a converted try here, puts them up to 25, gives them a 13-point lead. I think. Scoreboard's slightly wrong, so it confused me there. Right. That's a little bit easier. So there will be a 12-point lead, sorry. If that was the case. Thrown in by Matty Faisler. Time in opposition 22. Australia have had more than 4 minutes. Nice quick hands there from Dungunu. Going to Hunter by Sami. Now Gordon. Goes across to Faisler again. He has had a lot of runs throughout this game. Charlie Cale now moves up to 10 metres out from the try line. Tight games thus far. Nuru, rules or just well matched? I think it's just that there have been some very well matched sides. Like if this was, let's say, mixed martial arts, the matchmakers have done well for these 2 games so far. In terms of seeing their styles, seeing their records and putting them together to have a good game. That is close. 1 metre out for the Aussies. Angus Blythe gets flattened out. Now to the right-hand side, Noah Lolesio, the kick in behind. Callaway tried the big diving catch, but couldn't quite bring it in. And now Wales, they are going to use this one quickly. Oh, Liam Williams has been flattened there. And he was offside. Referee did not see it. My score, Springboks 39, Ireland 19. Unlucky Andy Callaway. 4 World Cups. I'm South African. Now we have got their good shoot. So here's Mr. Hall in. 19 minutes now remaining. Still 5 points difference between these two sides. That will go down to the final 10 minutes by the looks of it. Well taken by Noel Alisio on the halfway line. Getting across to Dungunu. Tackled by Reffel. Our wide kick appalling decision, says Jimbo. Yeah, if they just passed that out the back line, I think they would have found a lot more success. But Noel Alisio decides that is the plan. He's now going to sell the dummy twice. Thought about going for the cross kick again, but decides against it. And now Wales. That was very close to another turnover. Interception almost there. And Wales have now got the ball back. Maniaki is a Kiwi. Ireland's best player isn't even from there, says Matthew Lang. Yeah, but he's eligible to play for Ireland. So he plays for Ireland. So he's Irish. That one is going to be a great kick of mine from Bevan. I think they want the 50-22 here. I think he's got it. Ireland might spank the block, says Jeremy. Like I've just said, there was no need to go for the cross kick the way that they did there. Should have instead been just going with that backline movement. Good morning, everyone. Warm rugby greetings from the island, says Kevin. Welcome in. Only 20 metres out from the line here. Wales, after that 50-22, do have another opportunity. Try and get a try. Thrown in. Nicely claimed by Duff Jenkins, who gets it back to Tommy Reffel. I think Jake Gordon has had a bit of an underrated game as well in terms of the amount of tackles and the amount of work he has put in around the breakdown. Just a reminder, says MIGP. And there as well. Now Bevan. To the right-hand side. Another run from Owen Watkin. I don't think Nick Tompkins will be too far away from making his way on. Score is 18 points to 13, Hamish. That is correct. Currently with 17 minutes remaining. Placement forward. Matthias. Big shot on him. And there is the knock on. Which now means again the scrum will go the way of the Australians. First game for the Aussies in the Rugby Championship, which is not too far away. Early August, the 10th. To be exact, they will be taking on South Africa, which should be a pretty awesome one. Tom Liner, he will get his debut now. And we need a few Japanese in the All Blacks, says Jeremy. As well, Pacific Island teams need more games in the year, facing off with higher teams. More often, Samoa versus Italy. What a game. You're going down right to the wire. And that one, Aussie 22, isn't that bad looking, says Simran. So that is Tom Liner. Looks quite a bit similar to his dad, I think. Michael Liner, I think it is. Hey, lads, are losing your bandwidth. Just make a note, mate. Video going. Lads, are losing your bandwidth. Just make a note, mate. Video going. This is bystander. 18-16, 18-20, 21-20 is the final score. And Hamish, I'm no rugby expert, but it seems to me England tried to do the same thing as Box against the All Blacks. Prevent All Blacks from running the ball when their backline players. Yeah, I mean, the rush defence was extremely effective for England throughout that game, and the All Blacks did struggle to try and get forward momentum. Looks like Nick Tompkins now is onto the field. But, yeah, I think it was strategically very well done by the English. And, I mean, we're going to have videos probably not going as in-depth as the most expert analysis you can find, but we'll have a few videos coming up soon on the channel in terms of our thoughts on that game and what we thought could have happened or what did happen type thing. Now, Tate McDermott goes off to the right-hand side, away to Tom Wright. Choosing Tri Nations over World Cup is like picking your cousin for a kiss, says Sandor. Nice run for it from Kylea. And that's another penalty going the way of Wales. It looks like a red side now in the backs, says Annoy. Pretty much, yeah. They've got, oh, they got at the moment. They got Paisami. They've got ex-player in Filippo Dungunu, who is going back to the Reds. They've also got Liner, McDermott. Josh Fluke is still out there as well, I believe. Like they've just said, missing that clean out for the Wallabies then led to the ball going the way of the Welsh. Griffin was on it. and manages to get the steal. This will be a 3-point attempt by the looks of it here for Wales. Is that how many Northern teams have won the World Cup, cousin? Says the doctor. Who cares? I'm South African, says Sandor. Now 15 minutes left. This contest again. Ben Thomas at the moment, he's sitting with a probability of 69% for this one to go over from 29 metres out. Currently kicking at 100% throughout the rest of this game. And he is just hit the post and it's gone over anyway. So that'll make the score now 16 points to 18 between these two sides. How many times AB's best box in the World Cup final? Says Sandor. Welsh more deserves an opportunity. Boring choice. Says Jimbo. Australia win, South Africa win, and Argentina win will be a beauty, says Bystander. And English is an easy language to understand. Or so I thought, says Doctor. And on your Benny Thomas, nice works. Says Blues Nate. Nicely taken by Aaron Wainwright. Certainly stepped up in his 50th game for the Welsh. Thomas Williams. Back across. Sorry, it was actually Bevan, I should say. And we'll go back into the pocket now to Thomas again. Unless, no, he decides he wants to take it on himself. That one's gone high and almost backwards there for that kick. McDermott trying to swat it backwards with his foot rather than taking the catch. Now back across to the left-hand side. Tom Liner, short ball to Tom Wright, who wasn't expecting it. The Tom's miscommunication. And now kicked in a touch on the full from the Welsh. That is the kind of thing that you cannot afford to do. They wanted to play that territory game, get deep inside of Aussie 22. But instead now it's going to be a line out for the Australians inside of the Welsh half. Yeah, just not the best catch there from Tom Wright, unfortunately. Crowd 35,945 for this matchup. Overthrown line out, but Valetini is there and McDermott. It's going to be knocked backwards by the Welsh. Australia initially asking for that penalty for a deliberate knockdown, but then they realised that they were the team that were going forward, which meant that it went backwards for Wales. How many times AB's beat the Box in the World Cup final? Dr. Pooh says Sandor. I always do find it impressive how much we talk about the All Blacks and Springboks on a game that they aren't playing in. Now Tom Liner, nice shot coming in there. McDermott, short ball to Rob Valetini, who sat down the number 19 for Wales. Doesn't look like he's too flashy at the moment. Hill looks like he might actually have maybe a stinger on the hand or a broken wrist. Now 9 has been told to use it, that being Tate McDermott. Only have your 5 seconds. He's using every second of that 5. Kicked him behind from McDermott. Uncontested kick claimed by Bevan, who now gets it away to Hathaway. Tom Liner, massive amount of space, but he goes across to Tom Wright. Man pulled a reel. Says a missed all in. Great run from Tom Wright. And no one is there other than, oh no, he's just tripped over himself there, Mason Grady. And that is going to be another try for the Australians. Okay, wow, such a disappointment, says Simran there. Hamish, be honest, I am the king of this chat. No. But that is a great try for the Australians. Tom Wright manages to get it. How many tests has Springbok got versus All Blacks? 31 is it versus 63, and what a break, says Jimbo. Yeah, brilliant run from Tom Wright, and then only had to step around Grady, who just tripped over himself when he tried to defend. World champions will do it for the Northern, or for the nations. South Africans fans have been waiting to see their box in action. Hamish, are the Wallabies looking better than they did in the World Cup? I mean, anything was going to look better than that World Cup, that is for sure. But nice stepping from Tom Wright. And Mason Grady He just, I don't know what happened. I think his boot got stuck in the turf and he just kind of straight down. Past him. I'll take the 100% success rate in World Cup final. And nice try, but weak defence is drink on the moon. Yeah, it was one of those ones that goes both ways, isn't it? It was a great try for Australia, but also Wales should have had a fullback somewhere around there. Tom Liner, first kick in international rugby for that man, and it has gone over, making the score now 25 points to 16. They haven't given Wales their 3 points that they got just before, but either way, there is a split of more than these 7 points. But great stepping from Tom Wright, smiling over the line. Going to be kicked off again with 10 minutes now left on the clock. You keep that. Still making records. Great kick, says Salah. I be the king, you have this, buddy. Says bystander there. Now McDermott. Going off to Kai Lear. Jesus, I've popped out and we effed up. Says, listen, yeah, unfortunately the second half Blues have hit Wales again. I'm not talking about the Cardiff ones. Well, that was decent, wasn't it? Flesh, and you'd appreciate that as a Welshman with that slight word play. Why have not the Springboks won many rugby championship titles? Says Manny M. You could ask them. I'm probably not the best one to ask. Yeah, Fozzie made all sorts of new All Blacks records, bro? Says Sandor. And that's the thing, if Robertson had lost that first game, he would have been the only ever All Blacks coach to lose their first ever game in charge. Oh, nicely claimed by Matt Faisler. In fact, that time it is Billy Pollard. Cheers, lad, I got you. Now McDermott. It's back across to Kai Lear. I've just said 7 debuts. The Springboks are the best team with their 4th World Cups, having played in 2 less World Cups. Says Mario. Going to be kicked in behind. That is nicely taken by Wales. Nick Tompkins going back across. Nice attack and run forward. Looks like it's going to be tricky. Would have been good, Hamish, if Cardiff Blues still existed. Do they not? What happened to the Cardiff Blues? Are they just Cardiff now? Are you basically nocturnal, Hamish? Yeah. Oh, no, not necessarily, because I still work during the week. So I'm nocturnal on the weekends, but then during the week I have to try and get up at decent hours. This is how Super Rugby is Australia teaching URC clowns how to play, Bulls? Says Doctor. Mario knows what's up. Says Sandor and Kit Kats all stocked up, ready to go. Time out, have a break, have a Kit Kat. Says Blues Nate. Ball's there again for Bevan, who has played so far 72 minutes in this match as halfback. They do have a replacement option, but they haven't gone to it just yet. Nice run down the wing by Grady, and he's wrestled out by Andrew Callaway. What time do you usually wake up on the weekend? Depends on when the games are. Like today, I woke up at like probably 3 p.m., but I did only go to sleep at about maybe 8 a.m. yesterday. So I managed like 7 hours sleep, which is quite good for an afternoon, or sorry, for a weekend. But yeah, I still had a bit of editing and preparation to do before the All Blacks England stream, so I had to get up. They called Cardiff Rugby now. Well, now I'm sad. I thought I did a good pun. Even Smith says they want to win rugby championships in between Rugby World Cup, says Monet Lagrange. I'll admit that I am a spinner, but feeding the trolls and comments help the algorithm. I am playing Slip in a virtual cricket game. Now, nice attack and run from Nick Tompkins, I should say. I felt like he should have been starting in this game, definitely because of what he's been able to do for the Welsh in the past. I would have probably gone Grady 13, Nick Tompkins 12, if it was up to me. But I am not the coach. I am not Warren Gatland, so that did not happen. Now out wide. I've put him in a timeout by... Oh, so you were the one who put him in timeout. He won't be happy when he comes back, Nate. He will be rather annoyed. Now in behind, Costello. Costello again. Oh, that's a big shot from Rob Valentini. And this game is not over yet, ladies and gentlemen. How much time is left in this match? Still another 6.5 minutes remaining. He or she's on kick at the moment. How long we played for Cardiff, if I remember right. This is a very young Wallabies team. 7 debutants, the most in 44 years for this Australian team. Now in behind, nice flat ball. Test Series Rugby point table after this game. Should be Australia top of the table because of a big margin of point here tonight. So they will not drop in the world rankings, as this is what they are playing for, rather than like a competition format. So, yeah, I think Wales will drop to 13th, I think someone said, which would be their lowest ever ranking. Or 11th, it might have been, in fact. Nick Tompkins again, going in behind Sam Costello, goes away to Grady. And Valentini has a great game beast. And Cardiff knew the Valleys. Won't want Cardiff Rugby, same in Swansea. Says everything about a rugby. Nice little chip in behind. Oh, he can't regather for Josh Hathaway. It was sitting on the top of his head, and he couldn't quite get it. Well done, Aussie. Sorry, I doubted you. And two Waikato coaches, Gatlin and Joe Schmidt. Says Hinks. Yeah, nice kick in behind from Sam Costello. And then just kept on bouncing on the back of the neck of Hathaway like he was some sort of performing seal. He couldn't regather in time. Well done, Aussie. Sorry. I doubted you. It's Wallabies team seemed pretty good. Says Manny M. Now Filippo Dungunu will make his way onto the park. That is going to be for Dylan Peach. And the fly on the wall. Says Nate and Wallabies versus All Blacks. Can't wait for this clash. Says Krampus. On the halfway line, here comes Aaron Wainwright. He's been flattened by Kai Leah. Matthias. Still 5 minutes left. If Wales manage to get themselves a 3-pointer here somewhere along the lines, they will be within a converted try of taking the lead. Aaron Wainwright again. He has to be up there in terms of man of the match contenders. If the Welsh were able to get the job done. Yeah, Joe the man. He got Ireland going good in my opinion. Wallabies versus All Blacks, can't wait for this clash. Why don't they sack Warren Gatlin? Welsh Rugby is going nowhere. I mean, to be fair, Welsh Rugby wasn't really going anywhere before. I mean, oh, that's a bad one for Paisami. That could have been a knee going the wrong way. And the breakdown. But, like, I honestly think at this stage, Warren Gatlin wouldn't care if he got sacked. Because, like he said, if he knew the state of Welsh Rugby when he signed, he wasn't going to sign. But he kind of got fed a bit of a false sense of security in that regard. Matthias, now again, tackled by Angus Blythe. Back across there, Nick Tompkins. Upright tackle from Kai Leah. And Krampus, why are you brothers beefing for? Rugby Love Brothers Rugby Live. Says Doctor. Now Christ Chinza passes on the outside to Rio Dyer. Driven backwards by Rob Ballatini. Great physicality being shown by the Australians. Although that will be a penalty to the Welsh side, I should say. If they get this 3 points over, although I think they are going for the corner, which is the better decision. But they need to make sure they score now. I think Costello just making sure he knows what the plan is. Wales should sign Eddie Jones, says Manny M. No beef here, just biltong, says Anthony Walsh. But doesn't the beef start as beef? But then it ends up as biltong. I've had biltong before. I don't think I got the good stuff, though. Agreed, the physicality stretched it. And Gatlin surely has to shoulder some of the blame, given his role across the years, says Jimbo. That one, loose ball, well cleaned up by Dylan Peach. He's got the surname for it. McDermott goes across to Kai Leah, rush defence from Christ Chinza. Warren Gatlin should be the assistant coach for Eddie Jones, says Monet Lagrange. And just 3 minutes left on the clock now, ladies and gentlemen. McDermott. Waiting for this one. Oh, you had bad biltong, surprise, surprise, says Sandor. Yeah, although the family that we were working for, that were South African, they tried some and they said it was bad biltong, unfortunately. They said it wasn't as good, but that is nicely done by Aussie again in the breakdown. Fraser McWright locks over the ball. I think we deserved a bit more than this, says Flish. And yeah, after the first half, it did seem like it could have gone either way. And then, unfortunately, once again, though, that 40 minutes in the second half of a game is where we see Wales slowly drop. Tom Liner now kicking that ball into touch. I should mention the next live stream that we have got, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be starting in 2 hours, 15 minutes time. If it wasn't for you, we get no hammy, says Doctor. Right, giving himself a little bit of a slap on the chest as well. After getting the turnover, you don't just buy biltong at an airport. I didn't. It actually got sent to me. And they got it from some South African shop in New Zealand. I'm doing a Safa here and blaming the ref. Says flesh and biltong is not bad, Hamish, once you eat it. No, but the stuff, like I said, the stuff that I got we allowed some South Africans to try because we were actually building for them at the time, and they said it wasn't that great for biltong. They said that you didn't get the genuine good stuff. Well done, Joe Schmidt. Massive improvement. I don't have any money to give, brother. Really disappointed with this result, says Cool Story Bro. Well, still trying. 90 seconds left, though. They are running extremely low on time. They want to get to somewhat a decent score line. Oh, that's going to be the penalty to Wales. They have decided to take it quickly as well. Giles the man gave Ireland everything we have now, says Jimbo. Lloyd, tackled by Rob Valentini, who has definitely been up there in terms of man of the match contenders in this contest. Now in behind, nice passing, Nick Tompkin. Shot on him by Hunter Paisami. And doing a South African, blaming the ref as multitasking. Hope the South African don't mind the moaning, says Sandor. Another good chop tackle from Angus Blythe. It's a step in the right direction, though, for this Australian side. They will have a win under their belt. They did come in as favourites. And honestly, mate, I get better biltong from any butcher on a random street back home than I've ever had in 15 years in New Zealand. If you want good biltong, best better to enjoy a good holiday in South Africa, says Simon there. I'm glad I'm not the only one that found that it wasn't as good as it had been made out to be, just because, like you said, it's hard to get the good stuff. That's going to be kicked into touch by McDermott. And man, what a good weekend down this side so far. Yeah, only another 3 hours before the next kickoff, which is Ireland versus South Africa. There was horrible biltong out there, says Craig. That is the full-time siren just now sounding. I think we got one more moment. And come for the biltong leave because it's the crime, says Sandor. I see Ireland set piece in there, Irish styles, says Nate. Lloyd, ready for this liner. Looks like there is actually an injury here for Hathaway. It's a shame, definitely as late as we are in the contest. The Aussies have played well, hopefully the beginning of their return to top flight. And like they've said, the difference between this game and their last for the Australians in Lyon, the crowd were leaving early. They were sick of seeing this Australian side in action. Whereas this game, the crowd are still in the stands. The only ones leaving at the moment are trying to beat the traffic. But other than that, they are going to witness the Aussies get themselves their first win up against the Welsh in quite some time on Australian soil. That is going to be the end of the game, though. Brilliant rolling more defence from the Australians. And come for the biltong, stay for the Sunrisers. Says Simon, I have had biltong made by a South African up there, and it's not the best. Says Fleshington, thanks again for your top shelf work, Game. See you again for the next game. So the next one is going to be starting in 2 hours and 10 minutes time. Ladies and gentlemen, we have got an hour build-up for Ireland versus South Africa, where we will be looking through at the stats, the squads, and all the good stuff that has happened throughout the rugby weekend. But I do thank you all very much for tuning in. Who is your favourite to win Ireland versus South Africa? I am going with South Africa in that contest. I think it will be a closer game than some people anticipate, though. So I'm hoping I am correct in that statement. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. After that South Africa versus Ireland game, we are actually also going to have Argentina versus France. So be sure to pop in for that one as well. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for